Noddy, and welcome to Glenelg Oval. It's round 21 in the SANFL, and today it's Glenelg at home against Port Adelaide. The Tigers are sitting in 4th position on the ladder, and Port Adelaide are top dogs, #1 spot. But it's interesting, Glenelg, if they win today, could go to 2nd spot if the Eagles beat Norwood. It's a bit of a computation, isn't it? They've won 4 straight going into the bye of last week, Glenelg. Port Adelaide have won 5 straight coming into this match. Their form is pretty good. They've already clinched the minor premiership, and they are red-hot favourites. I reckon this one is definitely the SANFL footy match of the round. Stay with us. We are live until 5, and joining us is Gary Window, the 65 Magarey medalist, who is fully pumped for this one. Gary, I'm really looking forward to it.
I tell you what, I'm getting excited already. Always good to come down the bay. They really love their footy. There's a lot of big things on here, great lunches. They're all primed. Port Adelaide are definitely the ones to beat, David. And the Bays, if they're going to do anything this year, I believe today is a good starting point, if they can put on an effort.
I saw you before the match. You've been down, you bought your book, The Pride of the Bay. We'll discuss that at half-time.
Oh, we certainly will. I tell you, it's a beauty too, and they'll sell plenty of copies of that. Absolutely wonderful.
Well, I never thought I'd see a Central District man buy a Glenelg.
Well, Dad played for the Bays. I must put that in. Back in the 50s, so he played down here. So I remember coming down on the tram many years ago.
Well, you couldn't get better conditions here at Brighton Road this afternoon as we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Thanks, David. You're right. Absolutely fantastic day for football. Feels like finals weather already. The Weather Bureau says it's going to be fine, cool, a little bit of high cloud, and 16 degrees is the expected maximum, but it is just a great day for footy. We've seen a pretty good game already. The Port Adelaide reserves team got over the Bay team 17-14, 115 to the Bays 11-7, 73, but it feels like finals. These two teams will figure in it. I can't wait.
He had his footy boots on down there.
He did too, I tell you. He looks ready to play. It is beautiful weather. Great conditions in the Bay Oval. Big game, but good to see good conditions.
We get a chance to have a look at the premiership table with Port Adelaide already clinching the minor premiership, sitting top of the ladder.
Well, I think that's very pertinent. They're the ones to beat again this year. Sturt, Norwood, Glenelg and the Eagles sitting in the 5 there, but they've all got a lot of work to do, and they'll have to do it pretty quickly if they're going to make inroads in their premiership. West, Central and South and North have had dirty years.
Have they what leading goal kickers, Julian Burton from Sturt, 61-31 with a couple of rounds to go. Can Richardson catch him?
Well, I don't think he can now. Richardson's had probably not as good as you expected this year, same as Westies, I suppose, a bit up and down. But Burton, that's a good effort. He's been good for Sturt. They'll need him in the finals.
Well, Gary, interesting that these two sides have met already a couple of times this year. Port Adelaide have taken the points by almost 5 goals on both occasions.
That's a pretty good effort, I reckon. The Bays have got to do better than that, though, don't they? And I'd expect a lot better performance today at home on this smaller ground. It'll be hard. Port have got a few out, a few of their defenders, and the Bays have got to kick more goals. So I expect it to be very close and Port just to win.
As we go to the Glenelg lineups, Gary, Glenelg really, after taking the wooden spoon last year, looked like they could pinch 2nd spot this afternoon. It's been a great turnaround.
It certainly has, and I think the problem there I can see in the lineup, Big Gigne's got to do a lot of work there. He can play, playing centre half forward, he's got to play better than that. And Scripps, I like him as a forward, but I think they're throwing a lot on him at full forward.
As we go to the Port Adelaide lineup, Mark Nayley joins us. Mark, Port Adelaide, it doesn't seem that any time they have a player missing, they still are able to put a competitive unit on the ground.
Yes, Dave, we just look at their losses after last week's round. We see Brian Lee's out and also Bamford, both with hamstrings. Brosnan with a shoulder, and Carter was suspended after that great clash last week under lights at Norwood. It was a great game, that game, but today's effort, I mean, they're still able, as you said, able to replace players with players, and they really do look solid and strong still. I mean, come finals time, this is the time when we really do see the best of Port Adelaide. And Michael Parsons, just looking down there, I mean, big Darryl Paul at centre half forward, he's a big plus Philippo. I looked at the Tigers forward line, looked at the Port Adelaide half back line with North East, Fegan and Clayton. It really is going to be a great clash this afternoon.
Yes, you're right, Mark. It's that back line of Port Adelaide. They're ranked #1 in the league. They are very measly. And one of the players that has impressed me since he's come into this team this year is Sheen. He really gets after the ball hard. He's dogged. He's got a very defensive attitude. And standing alongside Morton and a very good player in Polton who re-signed with the Power during the week. So he is a very good fullback line.
As we go to the toss, David Brown back to choose directions, and David Grenvold winning the toss for the Tigers, playing his 100th game today, Gary. A wonderful effort for David Glenelg.
Yes, it's taken a long while to get there, but he well deserves it, and I hope he has a big one today because they'll need him. They'll need everyone firing today. A big crowd here at the Bay. The Bays have really got to put it on for them. And against Port Adelaide, there he is in screen. David Glenelg played for Essendon, played so well there, and back today, a great effort.
112 games for Essendon, Mark. 2 knee reconstructions, a broken jaw, an undeniable list of injuries, but he's overcome them all.
Yes, he's been back at Tigerland. He's played up forward, he's played on the half-back line. He really has been a good player for the Tigers and also for Essendon. We see there the captain. He's back in there again this afternoon, David Brown. They really did miss him a couple of games this year where he has had a few injuries that have interrupted his season. But he is an out-and-out champion and a great leader for this club. Plenty of AFL experience with the Power and also with the Crows. But Gary, I just think that the Magpies out there this afternoon just look a little bit too strong.
They certainly do, don't they, Mark? And they're still the team to beat. And you mentioned David Brown. You've seen a lot of his games this year. Could he? He's probably been out too often. The McGarry Medal, will he get votes?
Well, I was going to the other day and we're just looking at players that may poll this year, and I had a surprise one thrown at me this week, David. One of your old players that you enjoyed watching, young McGuinness, they reckon is polling very, very well in this year's McGarry Medal so far.
Phil McGuinness is a very clever player, and I guess he wouldn't have a lot of people take votes off him at Port Adelaide this year, even though they're sitting on top of the ladder, and historically the winners come from the top 5 or 6 player sides. So it's interesting late mail, get your money on, I guess. Is that what you're saying, Mark?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was a good source. Told me who watches the Magpies every week was saying that by far McGuinness this year has had a couple of maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 best on grounds.
I thought all those nice things you've been saying about the umpires might have paid a dividend this week.
I tell you what though, boys, the Bays have really got turned on here today. Now this ground, it looks a little bit worn in patches, but the Bays should love playing here. We know they've got their job cut out against this very good Port Adelaide side, but surely at home they've really got to get it down to the crunch time. Their rucks have got to win. They've got to get it up forward quick. I still think there's a problem down there, but if you get 18 players marked out there that want to try, surely on a small ground you must put the pressure on.
Well, regular tips are down the boundary line. Michael Parsons, who are you going for this afternoon?
Look, I think the Bays have been in fantastic form, but with Chad Corns going out, just going to struggle to find goal kickers. Maybe McEntee will float forward and jump over to the pack a couple of times, but I just can't see the Bays kicking enough goals to get over this very impressive Port Adelaide side.
What about you, Niles?
Well, I agree with Michael. Just not enough people being able to kick goals up forward for the Tigers, and I reckon Port will win and win comfortably.
All right, I'll sit between you blokes, Gary Window and Mark Nally to do the commentary. This will be interesting. Sparks will fly in the commentary box, let alone out in the field.
It certainly will. I see Big Fetimer starting off down there at full forward. First bounce at the Bay Oval on ABC Sport. This will be a tough game. They get in there hard right from the first bounce. Can't get it out of there. Bounce down. Pachoni on the bottom. Coming up for the ball. They'll need to do that. It'll be a test of manpower and strength today against Port Adelaide for the Bay.
And Gary, one player I want you to watch this afternoon. Number 20 for the Magpies. A bloke called Aaron Fiora. Outstanding debut game. He was best on ground. Second game also best on ground. Really has had a great start to SANFL football.
I heard you talking about him, Mark, and I tell you what, will be interesting. They certainly bring up the kids, don't they? It's Port Adelaide. Get away through Morgan, the handball away, and the long kick from Wade goes down into centre half forward, knocked away, goes wide. I think that's that young player now. Fiora goes into the pocket for Port Adelaide. It's not a well-judged kick. It's out of play in the right forward pocket.
Paul Sherwood has got the job on Evans at full forward. There's young Aaron Fiora, exciting player from Narracourt. Votes in your first 2 or 3 games of league football, Gary. McGarry Medal votes, pretty rare.
Back in the clash inside the 50 for the Magpies. Going to the top there was Evans. Just can't get the football out. The umpire comes in quickly. Blows the whistle again. And look at the bottom of that pack. Big Darryl Paul with the ponytail. But we must get the benches and we'll go down to Michael Parsons for those.
Yeah, you see him sitting there. Rubenik, Grenfold, the 100-game player, and Win Stanley just waiting their turn.
It's the 100 game. David Grenfold starting on the bench. Ball down. Massive players around this football at the moment. Fogden gets his hand on the football, goes wide with the hit. Coming back inboard. The Tigers will get it out of their danger zone. Goes up towards Sujay Cook. Oh, good mark by Morgan. He's been paid. Maybe dropped that a little bit too early. Umpire had already blown his whistle. And Morgan comes in with a kick over the top. The big ball from behind looked like from Bartlett. Coming there also was Clayton over the top of the football. Releases it out again. coming through there as Evans, just pushing it forward, the Magpies. The Army's in there again. They do that so well, David Mackay.
I think that's one of the things that both these sides are top in the competition on, is the tackle. Piccone there just laid the tackle solidly.
There's a blue on out there.
As you'd expect.
Oh, you will. It'll be very tight today, won't it? And that's what you expect, a tight Bay Oval, but Port are better than this than anyone else. The ball comes to David Brown. He gets out of the way. McGuinness goes goalwards. Nearly a mark down there. They can't get it. Dribbles out of play. Down on the Port bench, you can see it there. Fairly cool, calm and collected.
We'll go down to Michael Parsons.
Michael?
Yeah, you see the bench there. Hahn Wade in the first game in Bascombe as the ball goes forward again. Chance for goal. Boys, upstairs, it's all yours.
Well, it's interesting there. Faulkner was down hurt, but Port player's got a kick out there, and it hit the trainer there.
Stretches out.
And the umpire did the wise thing in stopping play. I think that was the best thing to do in that situation.
Not a good start for the Tigers. Their big number one ruckman this afternoon, Matthew Golding, pulling out before the game with an Achilles. We see Faulkner in extreme pain. Looks like either the ankle or the knee. He's clutching that heavily bandaged right knee. It looks as though he's done it again. It's bad news, David, for the Tigers.
He's been a wonderful recruit since coming across from West Adelaide, hasn't he, Brooke Fogden? Now, he had a little bit of time on the Crows list, but he is one of those athletic big fellows, and you can see that he's just come down awkwardly, and he knew as soon as he went down, clutched the neck and just stayed put.
Well, I made a comment before the game. I haven't seen the Bay Oval look as bad as this for a while. It looked very uneven right out in front of us where they train under the lights here, but even the goal squares, all very uneven. I don't think that probably had anything to do with it, but he's certainly buckled under in that ruck contest there.
Clash of bodies, wasn't it? You just saw the two bodies, the Magpies players there, one in front, one from behind. Really sandwiched his leg in between those two players. And not a good start for the Tigers. They really needed someone with Fogden's experience to control that back line.
These two clubs, Gary, you would well know, have a history that dates back, and I guess 77 grand final was a tight one.
Yeah, it certainly was, and it's always been good games. What I like about the Bays and Port Adelaide, like Nord also, these sides, they hate each other's guts, and that's putting it in the football vernacular. They really do, and that means they want to get out there and win at all costs. No love lost or given. It's just an amazing game between these sides. This will be like it, David. The Bays are going to now, losing their top ruckman, or their ruckman that was out, one that would take ruck duties. They've got a bit of a problem in that big man department.
Gigby, I guess, now needs to step up. Golding's in the grandstand, injured.
How bad is he? I thought he was all right.
Well, Michael Parsons told us before the game that he's got a little hot spot in his Achilles.
He's a big bloke. I didn't think they got injuries, big fellas like that.
Big fellas have big Achilles.
Do they? Well done, David.
But you just see how susceptible squads are. They fine-tune two big blokes out in the field. You lose one in the first 5 minutes, you're at a huge disadvantage.
That could be a telling point of the game. With 5 minutes in, but we've lost 2 or 3 minutes with that injury there to Faulkner. The umpire's getting ready to start now. They're waiting till the injured player goes down the race right underneath our ABC position here on the grandstand side. Bounce down. There's still no score in this game. Big crowd at the Bay Oval. Bounce down in the goal square for the Magpies. Can they get it? McGuinness already in the play. Gets to the way. They battle out there. Can't get it. Holmes in there with a good tackle. Port Adelaide a very good tackle inside. He's pinned him for holding a ball. Don't agree with it. Matthew Ashley's got it. A good tackle, but wasn't holding the ball, DB.
Well, the umpire said he had a chance of getting rid of it initially, and he just banged it against his body, made no genuine attempt.
Oh, we're not going to have this all day again, are we, from you? That player went in hard to get the ball. He's got a big chance to get it out.
I think you've got to reward the player going after the cherry, don't you?
Oh, no, I do. I really do. The tackler gets it pretty easy. The tackle was there. It was a good tackle, but if he can't get it free, surely it's just a baller.
You've been out in the middle, Gary. The umpire says, get it out, or I'll ping you. Get it out, or I'll ping you.
Oh, umpires, you don't listen to them. You just go by their whistle and that. I don't like those decisions, but still we could argue about that all day.
We probably will.
Ashley now. More importantly, Port Adelaide have got the first chance of the game to score. It's a shocker. Have a look at the Bay crowd. They're screaming. It's missed from not very far out, but it's the first score in this game. Port Adelaide 1 point. Glenelg get the score. We're 6 minutes into the first quarter.
Great fan of Matthew Ashley. My only criticism, Mark, and you'd know, for a little bloke, he does miss a few of those. Like in 50-something games, he's kicked 20-odd goals. I reckon a Rover's got to be 1 for 1.
Yes, the good Rovers always kick goals. We see one there, David Brown. He has kicked a number over the years of playing with the Magpies. He gets the ball back in quickly. It's up high. Win Stanley with the big arms gets over the top. In there also, number 5 and Brett Higgins. playing against his former club here this afternoon.
Good point, Nails. How many games did you play?
Goals.
And goals.
It was similar. It was sort of average 1.5 per game.
Just had a quick look. David Brown, 148 games, 131 goals. We'll come back to Nick Chigwidden in a minute.
Over the top now, chance for Gigney. He goes one way, then comes onto his left foot. Good work by the big fella Brown from behind. Smothered that ball. Coming in there is Burt. Left leg round his body. Morgan should take this just over Morgan's head. Biggett comes out hard. The back there, number 7, is Nicholas. He goes over the top. Good handball inside. 46 is there is Howard. Howard tied. Chigwidden will sit and wait and take them. Good mark. Good work by the captain and Chiggy. Chiggy back quickly, turns the head, releases the ball up forward. A great kick. And a good mark. Looks like Fetimer.
Fetimer's got it, but Chigwidden, really, you just know that when Nick Chigwidden's under a ball, fellas, it doesn't matter. It can go 300 feet high, the big ruckman can come. He'll stand his ground, he'll keep his eye on the ball, and just then he set an example for the rest of the team. Forget the mark, forget whether the goal. But the example has been set by Nick Chigwidden, and that's what a skipper does.
Very good comment. Courage all the way. Didn't waver one bit.
Fetimer comes in for the first shot at goals for the Tigers this afternoon. It's on its way. That's a great start for the Tigers. The first major to Fetimer.
You take the aspects of all of that piece of work from Nick Chigwidden. The kick was just perfect. Look how this ball, we don't get the height of this ball, but he knows everyone's coming at him. They're charging at him. Got a great shepherd by Scripps, by the way. Goes back, kicks it, and Fetimer presents himself. That's the first step, and then he goes back and drills it. You know, Glenelg, you can just feel that they're on a bit of a roll, the way their team's playing.
Oh, you're a bit early yet.
No, their team, no, forget whether they win or lose today.
Oh, yes,
their team patterns this year have been terrific.
They certainly have. Bounced down in the centre of the Bay Oval. That's good play there. They tried to rip it out of there, and that was through Winstanley. They couldn't get it clear. That's what they've got to do, get the body in hard. Port Adelaide will come back harder, nothing surer. Big pack of players bounce down.
I love Willett. Winstanley there, he just put himself in, took the ball out of the air, and then crashed through the pack, and his second and third effort was even better than that. It's great up there by Winstanley.
Beautiful conditions at the Bay Oval, not much breeze. This will be a top game. The Bay Oval, smaller ground, there'll be plenty of body contests in this one as big Damien Brown knocks it away for the Magpies. Comes wide, Holmes it is, he's under pressure, gets a handball away. It didn't go to anyone in particular. Going back over Raiders, he's pushed in the back, play allowed to go on. That's fair enough, you do it all day, Humpy. It's out of play, throw in on grandstand side of the Bay Oval.
Gigney is following Brown, but he got 20 metres ahead of him on that occasion to create a contest. He really is giving everything.
Poole, he goes up in front, Winstanley over the back, heavy bodywork, handball by Poole to Fiora, doesn't go there. He goes back over Poole, that's good play to McGuinness. He has a look, lifts the eyes, Pachoni does well to knock it away from Brown. The Bay's out of trouble, kicked out of play, not deliberately, throw in, right half forward flank for the Magpies. Glenelg lead, 1 goal, Port Adelaide 1 point.
Burke has the job on young superstar, or young up-and-coming star, Fiora. We use that superstar tag too early. But it's interesting, an old hand on a young star.
Certainly is.
Filippo thumps the ball in his direction. Coming in there quickly was Kelly. Back to Chigwidden, he dodges and weaves. Finally gets the ball out to Baconi. Baconi maybe take a little bit high. You can see the running play. Great work there by Chiggy. He's run an extra 25 metres to receive that hand pass. Then it kicks up forward again. Playing in front of the Tigers. Here goes Chiggy again. He's just running on 4 cylinders at the moment. He's doing a great job, the captain. The kick wasn't good that time. At the back, ball still is free. In there again is Morgan. Can't quite get it out. It's inside 50 for the Tigers. A great crowd here witnessing this game this afternoon. Would have to be, I would say, David Mackay, 7, possibly 6,000 here this afternoon.
I would have thought 5 or 6, Mark, but I take your point. It's a big crowd.
Knock away in the Bay's forward line. Chigwidden has started off like a bomb. He can't get it out of there. They all jump over the ball. 30 metres out from the Bay goal. Bounce down. Yes, it's certainly the book today. The Pride of the Bay will be launched here. And I tell you what, wouldn't the Bays like to make it a big win in front of their home crowd?
There's one of the Pride of the Bay. 4 times best and fairest winner, Nick Chigwidden.
Has he started well? Absolutely sensational player he's been for Glenelg. The little player, always with courage. Knock away. Goes in that direction. Heavy tackling on Fegan. That was all right. Should be holding the ball. Shouldn't it? He caught with it.
He never got rid of it.
Oh, great tackle.
Beautiful.
Well,
Why did they not hold the ball?
The umpire's saying he had no prior opportunity. Do you reckon? Not rewarding the good tackle? or you want to reward the ball carrier again, Gary?
Bounce down, well done, DB. Still should have been a free kick. Great tackle, didn't get rid of it properly. The ball comes to grandstand side, runs out of play, throw in. Oh, I like the look of this game. It's fair dinkum.
Tell me, Dave McCall, when's the last time you saw Feagert stop like that? He was dead in his track. He came out, pumped up, he's flat out when he took that football. Chicky's put the arm across and just stopped him dead in his tracks.
I reckon the last time he stopped like that was in pre-season training.
Burke gets the kick away, up forward in the base, fire hard, knocked away by the Port defence, comes down to Sujay Cook, he bangs the mongrel punt in there, knocked away by the defenders. Morgan's got it for the Magpies. That's a better handball. No, Polton didn't take it well, got it now, has to go onto the left foot from half-back and clears for the Magpies to the centre of the ground.
Oh, good mark there by Kelly, overhead. Playing in the middle this afternoon, comes in board, Sujay Cook, chips it forward, the captain's there again and Chig with him. He wants to get the ball moving quickly, you can see it playing loose, he does that well, and finds Bartlett.
Chiggy is their playmaker right now. Oh, he's a wash. And you just look at him physically, and he just looks in magnificent condition. In other matches around town, the Eagles 6 points, Norwood 2. Central 1, North 13. Will, Gary, you're in trouble.
You're joking. Out Elizabeth again. I can't believe those scores. Still a long way to go.
They've been in good form. The Roosters. We see Bartlett lines up for the second major for the Tigers. That's true and direct. It's another goal. And that's Alan Bartlett's first. The Tigers are 12. Port Adelaide on 1.
You look at Nick Chigwin and you can just see physically in that picture how well presented he is physically. I reckon he's lost about 3 or 4 kilos in the last month or so. His wife had a baby, and I reckon they're both getting in shape together. He's setting himself for a finals campaign, this fellow.
Well, so he ought to. The captain, he's got to show by example.
It just looks magnificent.
Are you getting carried away yet? There's the Bays, you think, how are they going to go? There's Port Adelaide are going to hit back hard any moment. There's the bounce down. Knock away. God, DB, you're not going to say anything now, eh? As it comes down that hard centre square bounce down.
You reckon I was being a male chauvinist about that comment on Chiggy's wife losing a few kilos?
Yes, I think you were, really.
I saw her before the game. She looks absolutely gorgeous.
Kathy, don't you start. Chiggy will be out of the ground and belting you.
Bounce down, centre of the ground. The Bays have started well, but there's the Magpie skipper and Brown. What a player. Kicks off the ground. Good play. The handball of the Bays is good at the moment. Not that overrunning. Cook throws it away. It's not good enough for William Stanley. And that'll allow Clayton for Port Adelaide. Clears to half forward. Big fly there. Visca, one of the tough men of football. Over the back, can't get it. Kelly does. He scraps up. Visca, they're trying to use the ball, the Bays. They'll have to do that today. Kicks the centre half forward, nearer the centre of the ground. Oh, beautiful play. Tackled. Can't get it clear. Another handball away. Ends up with Feagert. North-east. Block off the boot. It's absolutely sensational play as the Bays go into attack. That's terrific play with Howard. Bounces awkwardly. Heavy tackling now down by Fetimer. Oh, Chig went brilliantly. Gets out there. How'd he do it? Down to Scripps. Goes into the goal square. It's some good work down there. Over the back. They try to get it through. Battling forward. It's still with a chance. Battle. Fetimer. He's got it. Third goal to the Bays. Oh, what a start to Glenelg. That's his second. The ball forward. Glenelg, 3 goals. Lead out Port Adelaide 1 point. And we've had 12 minutes into the first quarter.
Tiger Faithful have jumped on board early. This is a true team goal. Every player's played his part in this. Piconi brought it back. Sujay Cook brings it back into play. As I said, the team disciplines. Keep the ball alive, fellas. Bring it back into the corridor. Thedham was very good. He got through off, by the way. You don't see players get through Port Adelaide, fellas, too often. And Fetimer got through. As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Yes, you're right, fellas. There's a fair old atmosphere in this ground today. A great game of footy. The one person that's not enjoying it is Brooke Fogden. He's downstairs. The doctors have checked him out. There doesn't seem to be any major ligament damage, was the words. Just got a knock on the knee. He's iced it up. He won't see him again today, but no serious damage by the looks of things.
Good sign there for the Tigers. They need Fogden. They're going to a finals campaign. They need their big fellas out there. Golding will be back soon enough. He's qualified. They like good tack. They need him. They get Bode back as well. It goes forward again for the Magpies. Cleaning up back there. Looks like Raiders just sees himself. Good to see the Tigers lifting their eyes, looking forward. They're finding jumpers. Piconi in front of the grandstand here at the Tiger Oval. He just chips it forward. Good work forward to Burke. Burke gets back. He needs to keep possession again. He drives towards centre half forward. Where's the jumpers? Brown's in front. Good work there by Brown. Northeast back from injury, gives the handball. Good work by Holmes over the top to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin heads towards centre-half forward, coming across. Great courage. Eyes for the football only was Darren Fraser.
You won't see greater courage than that anywhere. That's tough to do. He's made 60 or 70 metres just to get to the contest. Bartlett was coming full bore at him. Didn't deviate, eyes on the ball. You know, they're just the things that coaches love, and I think your club supporters really appreciate them, but perhaps not the opposition so much.
Oh yeah, you've got to have players that win the ball, and that's what footy's all about. I don't care what you say, courage is the most important part of our game.
Goal here by Fraser, bring the margin back to 11. It's a terrible kick over the top of Win Stanley. Just got his hands to the football. Visca, very disciplined, knocks it through for a behind.
You just have to nail those. Ashley's missed one. Now Fraser, after great courage, has missed one. You just feel that sometimes you just need to take the emotion out of the home crowd. Port aren't doing that.
No, not at the moment. I tell you what, they'll come back, David. They certainly will. It's just a great start by the Bays, but even in AFL level, you see good starts. You don't win a game in the first half. You win it in the second half. Holmes has got it on the other side of the ground. First time I've seen this lad, I think, this year too. He's another good up-and-comer. Goes to offset. Was a free kick, was it? No, taken away by Kelly. Here's that run again. Chigwitten. Handball wasn't the best option. Goes in. Oh, there's a free kick. Goes the Bays. Heavy stuff there. And Kelly gives him one. Right in front of the umpire. It's not the place to do it.
Now, that is just so soft. That is unbelievable. It's a man's game.
Oh, certainly is. Oh, he let all that go. There was not much in that.
Four blokes biffed each other. They picked one out.
Oh, it's ended up, though, with Port Adelaide. Gives them a chance. They love this. Filippo back in the side.
I backed Kelly 100 times on that.
Yeah, it didn't look much in it. It looks bad on the replays. ABC are so good at their work. They're right in there. You can see it. It looks worse than what it is when you're out on the ground. Filippo now. He's been under pressure to stay on this side. Needs a goal. He's a good kick. A wonderful kick. That's Magpies' first goal. Oh, that's a controversial one. But Port Adelaide have got their first at the 15-minute mark of this first quarter. Glenelg 3 goals. Port Adelaide 1-2.
Let's have a look at it, fellas. Chigwitten gets the handball through. Bartlett tackled. That's nothing wrong with that. There's a couple of good bodies off the shot we don't get. Now,
He got one.
Brown holds it.
High with the elbow.
Yeah, he gave him a little one with the elbow. Nothing wrong with that. The umpires let that go. Now, when he gets up, he just pushes him down. The umpire reverses the free. Now, there were 6 great contests, and the last one was half a soft one that was penalised.
Oh, forget the contest. It's just a fantastic game of football, this. When Stanley jumps high over the top of Brown, Chiggy's in there again. Gets the handball out to Kelly. Kelly couldn't quite get it. Umpire in again. He put it down. He bumps the ball into this hard surface here at Glenelg Oval. It's a high ball when Stanley again puts his hands to the football. And there's Fiora. Coming through hard as Paul. He's taken on by 3 Bay players. Chiggy again, Sujay Cook. He's told.
Beautiful.
And jumped to the ground.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Good. That is poetry in motion. Seeing Poole crash through. Took one out at the back door. Comes through. Now gets the chef. Bang. Just buries him and got a shovel.
Oh, that's tough stuff.
That's just fantastic. That's a part of our game.
It's got to be a part of our game. That's what makes Australian rules football different.
Down again. Brown, Paul. Paul goes wide with the hit. Reading it well there was Dalstair Burke. Gets the ball out. How the little speedster will take on Paul. Just knocks it forward. Nichols is in there. Left leg over the body. Where's the marking players? Fetimer goes up one-handedly. Going down to Morgan. The Tigers were released.
There's the long kick. Goes out of defence. Burke settled under it though at centre wing. The Bays are getting behind this play pretty well at the moment. Burke's got it. Heavy work by McGuinness. 6 kick to Burke. He started very well. Good to see Ian Mogridge still on the ball with the ABC. He must have been here for donkey's years. There's the kick, goes long. Into attack. Comes down to Ashley's court. Under a lot of pressure there. Can't get it clear. Pachoni's got it. Usually does something with the ball. Goes backwards. They do that all the time now, don't they? Handball away. It's good. Looking for Winstanley. Winstanley. That was Higgins to Winstanley. He goes long goalwards. It goes through for the minor score. 1 point only. Glenelg get their first minor. They're 3-1, Port Adelaide 1-2, and we're at the 17-minute mark, is it, of this first quarter.
Port Adelaide have got statistically the best defence in the competition. Glenelg have got the second best, and you can see it's just rebounding between the defensive lines.
Magpies just waiting now. The ball be brought back in. It's a good kick in. Winstanley's there with the city. Jumps and takes the mark. Wasn't paid it. Maybe had 2 grabs. Just didn't control the football, the umpire thought. Chance again, number 10 coming through hard there with Mark Clayton. Steps it high, off, going back, falling over there was Raiders, couldn't control it. Holmes is in there, overruns the football, actually reached at it. And we see players just get on top of each other there. Ball somewhere at the bottom of that pack.
I tell you what,
pulls in there, just pushing Glenelg players around.
Mark Piccioni started very well for the Bays also.
Good start. Paul will contest this ruck work with Winstanley. He's come on to replace Fulton, if he just joined us. Went off with a knee injury in the first 5 minutes. Good clash of bodies once again. O'Loughlin's in there, diving hard was Raiders. Biora takes it, very balanced as Biora heads towards the top of the square. Evans in front, used his body well, controls the football beautifully and snaps around his body. Just couldn't quite keep it where the big white sticks were. Another behind, so 1-3-9. Trail the Tigers on 3 goals, 1-19.
It's a pretty good start to the Bays here in this first quarter. Not much breeze here. Probably any that is there is going down to the northern end, favoured by the Bays in the first quarter. But I tell you what, they've started well. Port Adelaide hitting back late in this quarter. There's the long kick. Piccioni to the outer side of the ground, pushing and shoving there. And Poole was taken out of that before the ball got there and will take the free kick for the Magpies on left half forward flank. Big Darryl Poole. People would have thought he'd got more games for the Power this year. Injuries and coming off the ground, Phil McInnes. As we stay with Poole, 60 metres from goal. He puts it up in the slot there looking for Filippo. Over the back, no one can read that too well. Taken by Higgins. Tackled, tries to get it away. Goes near the boundary line. They've got a chance now through Raiders for Bays. Raiders onto the right foot. He puts it into no man's land at centre wing. They build out there. Nicholas Fegan. Nicholas does well. Keeps it in there. He's over the ball. He'll go for holding the ball if he's not careful. Gets it out. They're out of trouble. Kicks away, but a beautiful block off the boot. Comes to Piccioni. He can't get it. Bad handball under pressure. And there's Visca. What can he do? Pushed in the back. No free kick there, they reckon. No, the Bay crowd does. Brown's over it. Oh, good protection work there by Evans. Doesn't come off. McInnes gets it away. Heavy work. It's hit half forward. In they go. Hard. And that's on now. The umpires will have to clear that up. She's tough. It's rough on ABC Sport at the Bay Oval.
Oh, David, a couple of former teammates there. David Brown and Mark Vischer just gone toe-to-toe. Brown just put him in a headlock. There's a bit of blood being spilled here.
Well, if you think it's not fair dinkum today, just watch those two blokes go at it all day as we go down to Michael Parsons.
Nick Wigan also just been off with the blood rule, just had a spring mark on his knee, but Darren Fraser has popped a nasty blow on the top of the head. The claret is flowing freely.
Well, other games around the state this afternoon must be as good as ours, because ours is fantastic. The Eagles 6 lead Nord on 4. And Central's on 21. They lead North Adelaide on 14. Back here. Oh, it's a heated exchange. Up we go. Big Paul. Winstanley again gets his hands on the football. Pulls in there again at the ground level. In there 25 was Evans. The umpire wants the football. They're still fighting for it. Raiders wants to give it to the umpire. He held on to it in the last moment. Again, big Darryl Paul just builds his way, just trying to find where Winstanley is. Winstanley cleverly takes front position. Paul used his body well. Back to Evans. Good tackle there. Actually, it was a bit of a shepherd spoil or smother, whichever one you want to call it, by Sujay Cook. Great work by Baconi. Finds Kelly by himself. Kelly heads home over the top. Flying high there with McEntee. Chance for Chiggy. Morgan's there as well. Northeast is quickly onto the boot. Come out wide and found David Brown.
David Brown now gets it out of there. Port Adelaide need a goal. Oh, heavy work. Well done by young Clayton. Oh, body working there. Oh, it said it was hard. The umpires played it through. They shouldn't have been there. It's on, but that was all rough. Now there'll be a 25-metre penalty. I think the umpires overreact. I feel this game. I know they're going to keep control.
Now, the umpire said that was too high, Gary. That was the situation. Now, there's a couple of Port Adelaide blokes threw a couple of punches. Visca came in, let one go and gets a 25-metre penalty. Look, I guess the umpires have got to take charge, but we're enjoying this.
Well, it is. It's football at its best, and these players know it. Clayton's courage there was terrific as he goes long now. Goes right to the goal square. The Bays are in the right place. That's good play. A good mark by Sherwood in the last line defence for the Bays.
Well, the defence is second, and this fellow's leading it. so I guess he's right amongst their better players this season, Sherwood.
Had a very good year. Kicks long in there. A lot of pushing and shoving out there. Can't get it clear. The body work at ground level is good. There the Bay crowd yells. 3 kicks gone the way.
Well, fellas, that's their first free to the Tigers. I can see why the crowd are really applauding it. The Magpies have had 6 so far in this game. But back there again. Good mark by Jared Poulton, the centre-half back. Colton comes back. You can see a player loose by himself. He goes in that direction. The player is Holmes. Holmes just fakes the handball, then comes in for the kick. Going back, marking this should be Visca. He does it. Now he's got players wide. Sherwood should take this and run off with it. He's got Raiders over the top. Burke's gone further afield. They've got numbers down the wing here. Gigne's got 30 metres on ground. The kick over the top by Burke. Will keep it in? It bounces nicely there for Gigney. He needs support. Comes back left-hand side. Higgins is running hard. But the big fella in Gigney just couldn't control his kick. And it's out of bounds on the
Oh,
floor.
you're very soft on him there, Mark. That's terrible. That's the thing we talked about before the game. You can't do that. As Port Adelaide going to attack the centre-half forward. Good kick. Filippo in the right place. Hahn. Beautiful take. Tries to get through. Did he drop the ball? It's called play on. The ball's out of play. Right forward pocket for Port Adelaide. Going to this southern end in the first quarter.
Filippo and Bartlett as Hahn tries to get through. Dragged off it by Stanley. But Filippo, bang, crashes in. You just sense that Glenelg aren't going to be intimidated today, Gary. They're going to take it right up to Port Adelaide at every contest.
They certainly have to do that. As the kick away comes down the David Brown direction. Oh! Very worse there on Creighton. He goes hard. Look, he gets up beautifully. The Bays are on a run. Gets it away. That's good play. Nicholas goes into the forward line. It bounces awkwardly. Taken at the back by Poulton. He handballs to himself. Can't get it up. It's kept in play. Good play by McAtee. Puts it into Chigwin. He's knocked up the ball.
Good free.
He's been paid a free kick. They're into the open goal. The goal, but it was coming back to Chigwin. It's not. It's been paid. The Bays get another one. Terrific play, Glenelg. That's their 4th goal.
I'll tell you, I don't know in the finish he got it. It looks like Fenneman's been given the goal. But you can put that down to Kelly. When he cleaned up Clayton in the midfield, you could just feel the Glenelg players rise an inch or two. They grew a few centimetres taller. Excuse me for mixing my heights and measurements, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they just grew. They grew and grew and grew. And to see Clayton get up after being crunched by Kelly in the middle must have been great for Port Adelaide fans. This is great football. This is the best game we've seen, or the best quarter of football we've seen this year.
Oh, the Magpies, they try to intimidate Norwood at the parade. They did it well. They got up and took the points. The Tigers must have been watching that game fairly closely. They've come up, they're pumped, they're taking the challenge up to them. Kelly's in there again. Hard as nails, comes through to Holmes. Holmes will be taken. He's not quite met with it. Over the back now. The runners will go back with it. Higgins goes. He'll take on Brown. The kick forward coming out hard is Bartlett. With him is Filippo. Filippo has a little bit too much pace there for Bartlett. Comes back and board to Brown. Brown over the top to Ops. Ops comes in again. Over to McGuinness. McGuinness over the top. He should kick this. Will it come back? I think it has. He's happy with the result. The 2 fingers go up. So good reply there to the Magpies. They move on 2-3-15. Still trail by 10 points. The Tigers on 4-1-25.
That would be sweet for Phil McGuinness. Remember, he is the opposition coach's brother. Remember, he's played 60-odd reserves games with Glenelg. They really didn't give him a great opportunity. When they started to give him an opportunity, Port Adelaide grabbed him, and he has become a great rover in the SANFL since going to Port Adelaide.
That was the best passage of play for Port Adelaide. That's the coolness, David, that we mentioned to Mark when they get under pressure. You've got to be careful of that. They're hitting back strongly late in this final quarter, in this first quarter. Down the centre, kicked away by Brown. Look at that. They'll force it forward at any cost. In there doing good work is Kelly. There's the long handball. Found the teammate. The kick goes scrubbily into half forward. Bounces awkwardly. Big McAtee couldn't take it there. Comes out to the centre line again. Handball away. Kelly's got it. But there goes the siren to end the first quarter of football. Absolutely sensational. And the Bays lead by 15 points at quarter time at the Bay Oval.
Sorry, Gary, it was 10 points. I'm getting a bit carried away. Gave you the wrong dummy. But this is one of the best quarters of football we've seen. There is no question about it. Glenelg have taken it up physically. We watched Glenelg a few weeks ago just demolish Central District. Then we went Friday night just a week or so ago and watched Port Adelaide destroy Norwood physically. But today Glenelg are taking it right up, and at quarter time it's 4-1 to 2-3. Glenelg hold the upper hand. you enjoyed this just half as much as we are down here. The atmosphere is terrific. Big crowd and great football coming your way live on ABC TV Sport. Well, today we're profiling Richard Kelly. He's a state centreman. Now he's playing in the centre for Glenelg, and he's found a new lease of life since coming to the Bay.
He's had a few injury problems the last couple of years at Norwood and just found it hard to get back into the senior side. So I decided to make a move and play league footy somewhere else. There's not too many differences between Norwood and Glenelg. I suppose I deal day to day with just the playing side of things. Most clubs you go to, once you get to know the guys, it's pretty easy to settle in, and most clubs obviously have a good bunch of guys there to work with. Been great coming down here, just learning something different, bit of a different culture within the two clubs. Love playing in the centre. I think with the way that I play footy these days, my pace is certainly not a big asset, and probably more of an old-fashioned type of centreman, more stay at home, not a lot of running involved, but just getting to the contest. Biggest influence on my playing career, without a doubt, would have to be Neil Craig with my early days at Norwood. Played a lot of league football under Neil, certainly learned a lot. Complete footballer. I think you have to say someone like a Nathan Buckley. He's very athletic, he runs all day, he's got a great kick on him, he's got a good work ethic, can take a good mark in a pack. I've learned a lot from Tony, I think, the last couple of years. I'd played a bit under Neil Craig and a little bit under Peter Rhodes. Tony just adds a little bit of a different aspect to the game. I think he's a fairly deep thinker with regards strategy on the day, but always trying to change things to make sure that we have an edge. Chicky's very unique. He's a great leader on the track. He provides a lot of voice. He just gets out there and does the work on the track, and he does it on game day as well, and just leads from the front. When you need a goal kicked or when you need someone tackled, Chicky's always there. The main aims in football haven't really looked past this year. Big game today against Port. It's a must-win game for us to really secure a place in the finals, and hopefully play as many weeks as we can this year and get to that ultimate day. From where we've come from last year, it's certainly an exciting time for us. The season's shaping up pretty exciting, I think. We've got 3 games left. They're 3 hard games. Today's game against Port's certainly a tough one, but if we're going to be participating in the finals, we need to start beating teams like Port Adelaide and Sturt. So looking good at this stage. Hopefully we can have a win today.
He has tipped it pretty well, didn't he? Chicky leads from the front. 3 big games for him, and they need to start beating sides above them.
And that was well said, and exactly what we thought, and they've started that way in the first quarter, David, haven't they? That's as good as body contact as I've seen all this year in all leagues. It's been terrific stuff.
Physically, they were just terrific. I thought Nick Chigwidden led from the front, and when Federer got on the end of a Chigwidden pass, but really, this was all set up completely by Chigwidden's courage and persistence.
Amazing block off the boot there, was great. There's the play, going down to the forward line. Federer's been a surprise down there. He's a big man, but he's done really well. Chigwidden, see, with courage. Scripps. Drags in the goal, some good team play here. That was pretty good by Pachoni. Kicked it off the ground, went behind him. Taken by Cook, kept the ball alive as David called it. And then Federer with his 3 goals. That was a beauty with his hook down there at the northern end.
I thought Port Adelaide controversially got a goal that really Filippo didn't quite deserve.
Yeah, probably you're right, but I tell you what, I think the umpire's pretty good. We have a shot at them, but it's a hard game of footy. They've tried to keep control. You'll probably get the odd one. And as long as they let it go like it is at the moment, I think it'll be a good game.
And Filippo finishes it off beautifully. I think he kicked 6 last time these sides met. And he could be a thorn in their side. Evans has been well held by Sherwood. And I guess Filippo, 3 weeks off, is pretty fresh and dangerous.
He'd need to play for his chance to get in this very good, strong Port side, and that was a good goal. He'll need more of that today.
It's time to go down to Tony McGuinness, Michael Parsons and the Glenelg huddle.
He's got to have some movement. It's not a matter of just standing there and running there. He's got to have some second guessing, all right? He's got to work hard and pull straight. Okay? Tight.
Yes, you think Tony McGuinness was pretty happy with the work rate of his charges there. Richard Kelly in particular, really hard at the ball. Port Adelaide, on the other hand, I was surprised. Stephen Williams said that he felt that their play was pathetic. Second to the ball, they stood around a lot while the Glenelg players just chipped the ball. Really wants a man-on-man effort this quarter. He said, Darryl Paul's alive today. Get it to him, give you an opportunity. Damien Brown, he wants to see go harder at the ball. But Stephen Williams, on the whole, not very impressed with the effort from his boys in that first quarter.
Thank you, Michael. At quarter time, the scoreboard, Glenelg 4 goals, 1-25. Port Adelaide 2-3-15. Only 10 points the difference. And Gary, I guess the Glenelg forward line has been operating pretty well.
It certainly has. It's been absolutely terrific. You can see there Federman with 3 up at full forward, Bartlett with 1. They've been terrific down there, and that's the story of the success so far, getting in there quick. Port Adelaide, Filippo, that one good long one we saw, and McGuinness, always good around goals, has got 1.
And the stats there, Phyllis, indicate, well, the Tigers 47 kicks compared to the Magpies 34. Handballs are pretty even. Marks, well, the Tigers were on top, which surprised me because they weren't. I mean, they lost Faulkner very early there, but really inside 50 pretty even as well. And centre breaks, well, 5 as compared to the Tigers 2. David, just indicate that the Magpies have had their share of the football.
No question about that. In other matches around town, it's Eagles and Norwood. At Woodville Oval, the Eagles are 2-3, Norwood are 1-4, a tight one there. And Central and North, Central are 7 points clear of North Adelaide at Elizabeth Oval. Stay with us. We've got the second quarter live on ABC TV Sport. Your commentators are Gary Window and Mark Nayley.
And start of the second quarter, it's been absolutely sensational first quarter of play. And the Bays, after a good start, lead by 10 points. This will be a beauty. Port Adelaide will keep it going all day. We'll be interested to see if the Bays can keep up the intensity at their home ground for the full game. They need it. The final's coming up. Will they be there? There's the knockaway. Big Brown, Damien Brown for Port Adelaide. David Brown kicking off the ground. He's done that 3 or 4 times in this game, boys. They really want to force it forward at all costs. Port Adelaide, the way they play, they're very good at it. Bounce down to the centre of the ground. Umpire taking charge. There's a lot of heat out there. You'd expect it. It's a game of footage you love playing in. No quarter asked or given. Bounce down to the centre once more. Bit of a breeze to the end that Port Adelaide are kicking in this second quarter. Bounce down, knock away. I've been impressed with Winstanley's reach in there. You think he'd better do some good in there. Pushing away with Brown. Looking for a free kick. Didn't get it. Handball by Brown to McGuinness. He kicks down, knock away by Gigney, goes forward, coming through Kelly, has started beautifully. Handball's wide, the Bays have got a chance. That was a good handball by Howard. That gets it over to Chigwitten. What a quarter he had in the first. Kicks long, knocked away by McIntyre towards the line. Right half forward flank, grandstand side, throw in.
You just feel the crowd, fellas, getting right behind both sides. I looked at the huddles at quarter time. I don't know that I've seen bigger huddles. Supporters all around the coaches.
Local footy is terrific as Damien Brown gets it out of that throw-in. Kicks it down, but the Bays playing in front. They've got to do that. That's a good take by Raiders. He kicks the centre half forward, but a good mark in defence. Looks like Clayton. He's grabbed it and Port Adelaide out of trouble.
Beaker takes the handball from Clayton, looks wide. He just indicates he wants to go long with the football. Darryl Poole's out there. Good lead by Pooley. Good mark taken. Just put down there by Visca after he takes the mark. Umpire just brings him back. Poole comes inside. The kick's not good for Coney with great courage. Just chips in front of that pack. Takes a good mark. And Lance Piccone just starting to find a little bit of form. He too had a few injuries this season. Darryl Poole, Richard Kelly. Handball comes up. Fiora releases it. A chance again from Brown. Puts it up. Where's O'Loughlin? Also Evans is up there with one arm. Couldn't quite bring it down far enough. Working hard there was Visca. Over the top was Piccone. Dodging back and going with the fly to play there was Raiders. Gets it out. The bounce wasn't good. Didn't favour Vigney. Tried to knock it back to him. Comes back to the big fella in Brown. Good smother off the boot there. Brown buzz up again. Coming in board again was Fiora to David Brown. David Brown's chip wasn't good. Hasn't gone 15 metres. O'Loughlin puts his hand in the air. The umpire could not pay the free kick. He hasn't. It'll be ball up about 15 metres out from the Magpies' goals.
Bays mark have got to be more deft. They've got to be able to take the ball properly. They're still fumbling a bit in there. They've got to be a bit more determined in their approach to the ball. God, DB, you could talk. If I keep talking too much, I'm a bit excited.
Right,
bounce down in the goal square. Comes out to Kelly. What a game he started off. There's that handball of Bays. 2 different styles here. Chigwitten gets it away and they're off again. Howard's got it. He'll bounce through the centre wing. Goes long into half forward. McIntyre over the back. Can't mark. Reading it good is Carr. Carr's got it. Half forward line. Goes back. He's under pressure. The ball's still in play. Can he kick it? 45 and closing. It's going down towards goal. It's not there. Scripps with a chance. Can't mark. It's through for the minor score. The Bays attacking to the southern end. They got a 4-2. Port Adelaide 2-3.
Josh Carr showed a lot of calm under fire. Had Figa closing on him. Skirting the boundary line. Bounced and came inside 50. And almost made a real team lifting goal.
Good mark by Figa. Gets the ball moving quickly. One of the Magpies traits. Comes out wide. Clayton's there. The kick's not good off the boot. It's a floater. You can mark that. You're doing well. The back is Gigney. Gigney's been moved from centre-half forward to centre-half back just to take on Kelly. Where's the umpire's whistle? I think he's lost it. The crowd saw it. We saw it. No doubt you saw it at home as well. The Magpies have come up with a Fiora. Fraser it was. Just chips it up to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin's got some vision. Goes up towards... Looks like Evans coming out hard and takes a good mark out in front of his eyes.
When Port Adelaide play that corridor, and I guess it's a flashback to Scott Hodges, isn't it? And Tim Evans, when you see those blokes coming out, they always came down the centre. Port Adelaide knew where to put the ball. Evans was taking off to that spot before the guy even lifted his eyes.
Yeah.
And it's just poetry in motion to watch their forward structure.
Very good point, David, and that's what the Bays have got to block that off, because that's getting into their run now, going with this slight breeze.
Evans. First shot at goal this afternoon. Very controlled the kick. He's pushed a little bit wide. He has that. Another behind to the Magpies. So they move on. 2 goals for 16. They still trail by 10 points. The Tigers are on 4 goals to 26.
Pachoni it is. He's doing the kick out. Started well for the Bay. That's a long kick, 60 metres, but that's a good grab out there. That's that Fiora. He looked terrific in here. The left footer, he puts it in the slot, but the umpire says you've got to go back and kick over your mark. I never understand that one. He marked the ball, he went back and played on, and he has to go back and kick over the mark.
Question, Gary, who will be the first player from South Australia drafted in the national draft?
They still say Pavlik, but Fiora, I think, is the one, the up-and-comer. But he only played a couple of games at DB. I can see him frowning and everything there. You're getting sucked in like everyone else. But
no.
Only played a couple of games for Port Adelaide.
I spoke to 5 recruiting guys this week. They all rank Fiora ahead of Pavlik right now, right this second.
Pavlik started brilliant. He's had a full year. He's still and a big player. I tell you what, there'll be a toss up there. The throw-in, out of side of the ground. Poole getting into the game. Handball's good. Goes towards goal. A lot of players bouncing for the ball over there. That's touched. Touched off hands, through for the minor score. Port Adelaide attacking, but not getting goals. They're 2-5, Glenelg 4-2.
To be truthful, Gary, I don't know really whether it matters whether you take it at 1 or 15. I reckon the top 15 or 20 kids in the country are terrific.
I think you were just trying to make an argument there. That's what I was going to go to. That's you were sort of saying Fiora is better than Pavlik. Well, we don't really know that yet.
It was a question.
Oh, fair enough. Let you off.
Big Sujay Cook goes over the top. Did I call him big? I must be wrong there. He's shorter than what I am, I think. And we might go down the Port bench after quarter time. Michael Parsons.
Yes, David Williams swung it back to the way they started the game with Scooter Hahn, Wade, and the young lad from Streaky Bay, Bascombe, just waiting for his first taste of this league.
Jiggy comes up with it, just gets the handball again to Cook. Kelly comes in just as hard. Over the top of him was O'Loughlin. Again, Cook throws his body in there. Lovely to see the ABC on State Line on, I think it was Friday night, had a nice little piece there on Sujay Cook and his family.
Oh, actually watched
well
that.
worth watching it was. Great insight to the life of Sujay Cook.
Closet musician.
Free kick's been found.
I was just looking for the umpires here because they're doing a pretty good job at this stage, and it's Greg Inge, Kevin Chambers and Andrew Vickers, and they're doing all right in a pretty tough game as the ball goes to half forward the Bays. They need another goal. Chick Whitten's got it. The captain tries to get a handball away to Sujay Cook. Couldn't kick off the ground. McGuinness, that's brilliant play. Goes wide. Look at Brownie out there. The captain's got it. They'll run now, Port Adelaide. They'll try to break the game open. O'Loughlin's got it. He handballs inboard to Fraser. Tackled. Breaks one tackle. Gets it back to O'Loughlin. He goes long. The kid down to full forward. Pushing, shoving. Evans. Good play where all 4 forwards are in front. It's marked at a point-blank range. 15 metres from goal.
In the first quarter, Brooke Faulkner was getting back there and creating a contest, filling the hole, and Evans had nowhere to run, and neither did Philippou. Now Faulkner's off, knee injury, it's starting to open up, and Port Adelaide can kick 6 or 7 goals in 10 minutes and wipe you off the planet.
That's for sure.
And Glenelg need to get their ruckman back there a lot quicker.
Evans. Evans now goes at point-blank range. He needs a goal. His first attempt wasn't that good. That one looked it through. The Magpies are coming back. We expected that. Great goal to them. 3-5 they are, trailing Glenelg 4-2 by 3 points.
Paul Evans is pretty dangerous when confidence is high. And you look at the options they've got in their forward line, Filippo, Evans particularly, dangerous. They're both guys capable of kicking 6 or 7 and blowing the game apart. That's a good contest. You can't be critical of Stewart there. Gave everything, just outmanoeuvred in the final wash. And inside 50, the Magpies have gone in 19 times. The Tigers 14. They're giving their forwards some opportunities.
They certainly are.
4-2-26 plays the Magpies on 3-5-33. 23, that is. A 3-point ball game. Comes back again to the Magpies. Coming out hard as Evans. Is he taken off the ground? I think he has. Oh. This will put the Magpies in front. Paul Evans will kick straight. Good centre clearance there by Lachlan. And a better mark there taken by the full forward and Paul Evans.
He's got 1 goal too. So when he gets the ball, he always scores. I guess that's what you want from a full forward. But I guess what I'm saying, he doesn't get his balls at 50, 60 and 70. He never seems to take an easy kick. He always gets them inside 50 and always scores.
That was a good take, though, that. What an absolute beautiful take that was.
Driving forward. Paul Evans just kicked the one before. His 52nd for the afternoon. So the Magpies are in front. We've played 10 minutes into the second quarter. 4-2-26. The Magpies 4-5-29.
With Elga learning at their peril, you drop your intensity 5% against Port Adelaide. They will sustain this pressure for 4 quarters. If anyone's going to beat them for this year's finals, they're going to have to maintain the intensity that Glenelg did in the first quarter for 120 minutes and keep going. Port Adelaide just absorb everything you've got to throw at them and then still keep coming.
Good comment, DB. You're dead right there. Now this is a danger period for the Bays. They have to hit back with a goal at this 10-minute mark of the second quarter. Good conditions at the Bay Oval. The ball knocked down. That's a good take. They've got to get out there. Kelly, can he do it? There's the tackling of Port Adelaide. Good in the centre square. Another bounce down.
The other thing Glenelg do when they're winning is they run forward. When Glenelg are starting to gather the ball, they look fantastic. Now it's a real test of how far they've come, whether when Port Adelaide get on top, they can go back a bit.
Bounce down. Brown gets in front, but Piccioni's played well. Gets the handball wide. He needs to take this. Cook, he needs to take that. He does. That's all I asked of him. He goes better with the left foot long. It could bounce through going down there. Polton snaps up from behind. It's through for the point. A minor score down there, but good attacking movement. Bays need goals, though. They go to 4-3, trailing Port Adelaide 4-5 by 2 points.
Great duel in the middle of the ground. Josh Carr on Brown. That's skipper David Brown. I think that'll have a huge bearing on the outcome of this match too.
Good kick in when Stanley takes front position. So does McEntee. Charge for the captain and Chicky. Tries to get through the tackle of Clayton. The umpire, well, must have thought about it for a moment. And it was held to him, he indicates there. Umpire Chambers. Plenty of pushing and shoving. Carr and Brown. Dave Mackay's called it. Carr is wearing him like a glove at the moment. Won't get him inside the contest. In where the heat is, comes back out to Fraser. Fraser goes on board to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin's looking for the handball to Brown. Goes over the top. Carr's right with him. What can Brown do? Good work by Carr. He's held on to and put the ground. And Carr just having a little bit of a wrestle there with David Brown. Comes back to Sujay Cook. Sujay Cook goes wider. Burke should take this. Good work by Clayton. Well, the umpires are letting this game flow. Comes back to Burke. Burke nearly taken again there by Clayton. Comes back in board. Again, we see over the top was Fiora. Back to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin gives a handball wider, trying to find northeast. In there also was Benema. Coming out with it was Hobbs. Hobbs over the top. Fiora, left leg. He favours that side of his body. Goes high with the kick. At the back there was Holmes. Good work there by Howard. Brings it to ground. Over the top is the captain and Chicky. Has he made it the distance? I think he has. Takes it once. Polton comes out and meets Chicky. Over the top there is Morgan. Morgan needs support as well. In there is Brown. Brown again taken by Howard. Oh, what a contest. What a game. In there again was Howard. Hit for the boundary line.
Umpire in charge then was Kevin Chambers. You could see why the umpire's grand finals didn't panic, didn't go for the whistle, let them belt the living bejesus out of each other and didn't bother to go for the whistle. Glenelg 27, Port Adelaide 29. 2-point margin in other matches. Ooh. I like that one.
That's good, isn't it? Eagles 40, Norwood 16. That's a terrific up.
Now, Glenelg, if they win today, with the Eagles in charge, could get there. And Central, well, Gary.
Coming good. They've got to win one at home. There's the blood rule just in operation. You'd expect that today. I don't like the blood rule for the stoppages in the game. That's why I don't like Malcolm Bloke's timeouts. Oh, Brownie's got some clarity. Oh, they're into it.
Game of footy. Terrific. Hey, This is terrific. I don't mind that because we know Josh Carr can be a free-running wingman or rover, very skillful. We're about to find out whether he's got a dimension to his game that an AFL club can use.
No, very good point. And this game is where men are made, and that's it. The Bays are trying to, and I'm glad Tony McGuinness he's got his side looking for the finals. So he's got said this mob are the team that you've got to come up against if you're going to play and win in finals.
Great mind game happening out there at the moment. You see, I saw McGuinness then. It was all mouth at the Glenelg players and Carr. It's a great mind game happening out there. Just wait for somebody to break.
Throw in, comes in, grandstand side. Fegan gets the kick away. Port Adelaide, though, they thrive on this. Can the Bays keep it up? Taken by Higgins, an ex-Port Adelaide player. High, that was a high tackle. The Bay crowd yell, he's got a free kick. McGuinness comes back on the mark. Higgins now, he's got to have a good kick there. It does. Finds Howard, centre wing, near to the grandstand side. There's short plays, he's got to use the ball well. Kicks long, he decides to go to the leading forwards. It's there. Vetimer comes screaming out, couldn't mark. Oh, Chig, he's got it. He's still in play. Centres the ball. Full forward, but it's not on. It's northeast in the back pocket. Will grab and clear for the Magpies.
I was going to say, Mark, there'll be some reputations made and lost today. This is finals football. Coaches will have a look at the performers and they'll go with them. Now look at the blokes who didn't fire up today, and they might not find themselves in teams for the finals.
Well, David, there is no space out there. We are playing on the smallest ground in South Australia this afternoon. There is no inches out there. There's no metres.
Cut anywhere.
It is tight. It is millimetres. See David Brown there. He suffered a little bit out there with a bit of a blood nose, maybe a little bit of scratch to the side of his nose.
Not flinching, not even worried about it.
Tough, right? He's one of the best.
He is. This is his trademark. When it gets tough, he just keeps going, and he's the smallest bloke on the field.
Well, you can't wear a black and white jumper unless you play by the rules, the Magpies rules. We spoke about Foss Williams this week releasing that great book of his.
Good comment. We'll cover that at half-time.
A couple of opening pages.
We've got the author here on the boundary line with Michael Parsons at half-time, and we'll speak to him, and we'll also cover the Pride of the Bay, the Tigers' new book that was launched today.
There's the ball out of side. I like his game since coming on for the Magpies. He kicks the centre wing out there. Hans grabbed it for Port Adelaide. A goer. He'd like this game, but they all would. Been a top first half of footy. Port Adelaide lead by 2 points, and we're only 16 minutes into this second quarter. There's the handball away. Brilliant play. Goes to Fiora. He puts a pinpoint pass in there. Doesn't hit anyone. Evans, though, does beautifully. The big full forward goes goalwards. I think it's a cross goal. It's missed. 1 point only. Port Adelaide attacking. They go 3 points up, but great movements there for Port Adelaide.
We go down to Michael Parsons.
Yes, those two boys that came off with blood rule before. Winstanley's back on, replacing Justin Scripps. Justin Scripps coming out of full forward. It'll be interesting to see how Tony McGuinness reshuffles to cope with that. And David Brown about ready to come on. He'll just replace Scotty Hone.
Thanks, Michael. I look at Grant Rubin at Gary in the bunker and David Grenfold. I reckon when things are willing, you want those two blokes on the field.
Certainly type you need. I've been live impressed with this Winstanley. I'll tell you, he could be all right.
Oh, he's injured too. Oh, no.
Hamstring. It's a hamstring. No, it's not. Come back. They'll go forward once again. We may just watch Winstanley. Over the back there is Gigney. Gets his hands on the football. Morgan's there to clean up. Does the big arc and heads the ball home. And coming in front there was Raiders. Good work there by Michael Raiders. Oh, good tackle there on Higgins. Just forced the error. Obbs cleans up again. Good tackle again by Raiders. Coming in board was Holmes. The umpire has called a trip. Which way will he go here? The book's coming, and Raiders has been booked for deliberate trip.
Deliberate trip is reported out by has no option. He reckons it's deliberate. He's got to get the book out, and that's what Kevin Chambers has done.
Yes, he's made the right. That tripping now, right on that, especially those high ones.
Just fill me in here, Dave. Is there a 25, 50-metre penalty to go with that?
A 50-metre penalty. It's a report and a 50-metre penalty.
Just watch it here again, yes. Leg went across.
But how do you know that's intentional?
Well, we talked about this with Joe Mercedes at Essendon, didn't we? He went to kick it or bump him, and there goes the penalty. So the umpire's done everything right by the book, might you say, but he deemed it a deliberate attempt to trip.
I think you made a very good point. The umpire's deemed it deliberate. And now, I don't know how people know that. When you're out playing footy, legs and arms going everywhere, I suppose if you throw a leg out when you're coming across a player, the umpire, you could say, was probably right. You can't do that.
Well, when you're going in the opposite direction, you stick your leg out, the umpire's got to say it's deliberate.
Holmes comes in, he puts it on its way. It's a goal, it's the first one to young Shane Holmes. The Magpies now just extend their lead out to 9 points.
Well, the Glenelg fans really have hooted and booed the umpire, and they don't like the decision. But I don't know that the umpire had any choice on that occasion. If he doesn't, he gets dropped next week. Doesn't get a grand final. He's got a job to do like everyone else.
The rules are there, and you explained it well, DB. If you throw, I just thinking as a player, I always think as a player, how can you stop throwing arms and legs out? But if it's in the rules and you know if you're coming the opposite direction, throw a leg out, it's going to be deemed deliberate tip. You can't do it.
Look, you just do it. It's an instinct, and as soon as you've done it, you know it's wrong. But it's done. It's gone.
We're in the second quarter. Port Adelaide putting their mark on this game. What can the Bays do? Out of the centre, they need plenty of that from Winstanley. Gets a little kick away. The Bays need to get a couple of grabs here and get it down. Port Adelaide looking good. Ashley slips over. There's a tackle on Brown. Play called on. That's good umpiring. Over to Pachoni. Goes short. Is that the best option? Nearly come off. Taken by Fenema. It's a look away handball that didn't come off. Morgan's got it in the back pocket for the Magpies, and they'll get out of trouble. The crowd screaming for someone to tackle him. Fenema goes over, hits him late. The ball to the other side of the ground. Sujay Cook over the back. Harm there, can't take it. Holmes is out of play. Throw in left half forward flank for the Bays.
Fenema's kicked 3, Mark, is that right?
Yes, we'll have to add to their goals since quarter time. Fenema's had 3. The other goal kicker is Aaron Bartlett for the Tigers in that first quarter. You see the ball coming in again. Coming down with Visca. Oh, see a tough little nut. Chicky's taken high. He does that so well. Just as he's about to be tackled, he just drops his shoulders. His head comes with it. Pachoni this time will no doubt will go for goals. Straightens the body up. Releases the kick. He wasted the time before. This time he made sure he went through the big majors. He's done that. Lance Pachoni. That's his first major.
He's a cool customer too. Had trouble settling into South Australia, then got injured. But I reckon since he played, 4 reserves games in a row about a couple of months ago, he's been brought back to the Glenelg senior side, and he seems to have found a completely new dimension. 8 kicks, 4 handballs, but a toughness and a ferocity that we didn't see from him early in the year.
He's been in the wilderness, hasn't he? We didn't think he could play.
Well, I think he's back. And
I tell you what, that was absolutely sensational play. Backed himself, arched the back, and kicked a much-needed goal for the Bays. They had to get that as Port Adelaide putting the pressure on out of the centre. Ashley, always a good player, tries hard, kicks it for Port Adelaide. Into the half-forward line. Battle here. Terrific take there. That's good play by Raiders. Under pressure. He'll get a free kick. The Bays have got a free kick through Raiders. Centre wing, grandstand side.
Free kick's coming back now. They're starting to even up. It was 6-1, I think, in that first quarter. It's now 7-6. So the Tigers are just starting to receive a few that went missing in that first quarter. Gigney takes it. Looks towards the boundary line. He saw Raiders there by himself. This is where he needs to put the football where the grandstand is. He puts it up. McEntee's the flyer from behind. He's up. Couldn't quite bring it to ground. In there hard again for the hard football was McGuinness. He just chips it up. They're playing in front. Philippo's there. Higgins goes back with the football. He goes further back to Winstanley. Left leg Winstanley comes across. The kick should find his target. It does. Good work there. Finds Berg. Berg a high ball. McEntee again is in there. The chip's over the top. They need the smaller player. There's Chiggy. One grab, one kick off one step. And it's behind. Just couldn't quite find the big white sticks once again. But another point. Takes them on to 5-4, 34. They still trail by 2 points.
Well, what a movement that was. I tell you, 2-point ball game. Port Adelaide in front as we near the end of the second quarter. It's been a top half of football. Port Adelaide now through Sheehan. He kicks a scrubby-looking kick. Goes in the wrong place. The big players are all there for Glenelg. Winstanley has grabbed it. That's what he's got to do. No, he's got to get it in there. Get in those forward lines. It's getting near the quarter. He's got to get it along. He's put it out in front of goals. Who can take a mark? Grenville can't. Sujay Cook should have taken the ball. He didn't. And that'll allow Morgan to get out of there. He kicks wide into defence. It's out of play. Left half forward flank for the Bays. Oh, like players. Mark Naylor, you would have taken that on the hands. I know it's easy to say from here. Young Sujay Cook's got to learn it. You've got to get a grab of it.
Just need to take it in his hand. He was trying to do the miraculous goal, sock it off the ground. Couldn't quite get his boot to it. Coming back there is Burke. Burke will go over the top of the handball to Chiggy. Chiggy gives it back to Piccone. Piccone inside 50, puts it high. Oh, McEntee was pushed. 29 was Grenfold, in fact. Comes out again. Howard's there. Holmes is there with him. And Holmes quite happy to see the ball out over the boundary line.
Glenelg mark has gone from a back pocket to a forward pocket. Tony McGuinness really flicking his side around. Brenton Vascombe comes on for his first game. We might go down to Michael Parsons.
I think Michael's quite ready for us, enjoying this football game this afternoon. Howard comes up with it, goes around his body. Northeast should be taken. He is there by Fennemer. Umpire again put his whistle in his back pocket as the ball's out over the line. Two other games being played around the state this afternoon. Well, Woodville Oval, the Eagles are taking on Norwood. They really are taking him on with 43 to the Eagle, 24 to the Redlegs. And we see Central's on 54, just covering the Roosters on 30.
Well, I guess, Gary, you would have hoped that Centrals would have got over North, but North are always going to be hard for the Bulldogs today.
They had a good month for North Adelaide, and with Central's very diabolical record out at Elizabeth this year, that's going to be a real battle. They look as though they're playing well, but let's stay with this one. It's a big game here. We talked about it before the game, that the Bays had to put the pressure on today if they're going to be a threat in the finals. Have a look at the Port supporters. Magpies, the Port power, footy's changed, but I tell you what, the Port supporters don't. Bounced out in front of the Bay goal. They need another goal, really, because they've got the guts to get it. There's the kick away. Port Adelaide won't give in easy. Knock away. They're reading the ball well. Kelly does well. Gets it over to Visca. That's intelligent stuff. Over to Bartlett. He decides he's too far out. Pops it up in the goal square. They fly. Off hands, front of the pack. Obbs gets it away. Pachoni, who's played a terrific first half of footies in there. It comes wide, and that'll allow now Hahn to get it out there. No, it runs out of play. They're throwing on grandstand side.
Tell you what I've been impressed with Glenelg today, Gary. The way they bring the ball back into the corridor at every opportunity. Visca brought it back inboard, Bartlett, and then Bartlett drilled it straight down the middle. I reckon if they were playing any side bar Port Adelaide today, they'd be 5 goals up.
Yeah, I think they would be too. I tell you what, they've done a great half. Look, it's going to be a great second half. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited about the Bay's pressure, and they've done right.
How could you not? It's a 2-point ball game, and they're belting the living daylights out of each other.
We know we're cynical, though, with Port Adelaide's second half, but Port by 2 points as we near the end of this second quarter in a rough, tough game of footy at the Bay Oval. Knock away. Thiegat gets a little kick away. They're out of trouble again with the left foot by Clayton. Goes down into the centre of the ground. Tell you what, this big bloke's done well, Winstanley.
West Adelaide gave him away, didn't they?
It's amazing with his size and strength as he kicks long the centre half forward. The Flyers are there. 2 Port players clash. Sujay Cook does well, gets it away. The Burke, he drives long, there's players in there. Grenbold, he's hit around the head, he's going to get it because he held his head. He'll get a free kick.
He missed the ball, and experienced players do a little something extra. Lost it in the sun, no shame in that, lost it in the sun, got a little tap on the head and went, oh, I missed the ball, I better let the umpy know. And out comes the whistle.
Well, the AFL are going to do something about people playing the free kick. Grenbold says, I don't care, he's playing his 100th game today. They need a goal. This is very important for the Bays. It puts it in front, you would think, at half-time. Grenbold, not far out, 45-degree angle. We're right behind it. He's a backman. He's a shocker. Across the face of goal. A screamer. It's McAtee. We had to wait. There was a few in there.
Well, he was buried. You just couldn't see who got it. And Gary, that is a big mark.
He's got some talent, this kid. Have a look at that.
I don't know you'll see a better mark in a more pressurised situation.
Well, I'm going to put the pressure on now. He's still got to kick it, the same as the Grenbold kick. They've got their second chance. You don't often get that against Port Adelaide. Remember, this kick can put the Bays in front in the first half. Young McAtee's only played 17 games. I think he's done it. Oh, the goal in the first half. What pressure. The Bays in front.
I know Chad Corns, Gary, is playing for Glenelg and Port. I reckon McAtee looks more like Graham Corns than Chad Corns. The way he plays, socks down.
They all look like Graham Corns down here. I see him all the time.
Yeah, you'll be casting aspersions now.
No, not
but he does. Look, you look back at the old highlight tapes, that looked like Graham Corns marking and kicking for goal.
Well, Ben McAtee, take a bow, lad. I know you won't do it there early stage. That could have been one of the most important kicks of the first half.
6-4-40. The back in front, the Tigers. The Magpies on 5-6-36. Ball down again. He takes it out of the air. Winstanley's first half has been exceptional after Brooke Bogdan went off with what seems a reasonable knee injury. A mark there taken by Nicholas. He's right on the 50-metre line. Will kick just out. It's a good mark by Nicholas, David.
Yes, it was, and he needed to get into the game too because he really hasn't had much to do. Thiegat has beaten him well and truly in the first half. Glenelg are ahead on the scoreboard, but if they could get a lift from Nicholas, they'd look a little more effective.
They lead by 4 points. Nicholas is backing himself the long left leg. It's a high ball. Where's McIntyre again? He gets his hand on the football. Tiggy's in there also with Morgan. Neither player comes out with it. So again, the umpire will take possession. He will put it down. We're 5 metres out from the Tigers' goal front. No doubt the big ruckman and Paul will try to put it through for a rush behind. Tiggy just puts him out of the contest. Bigot goes for the safety of the boundary line. Fiora's held without the football. Pushing him over the line there was Cook. And again, they're just keeping it inside the attacking zone. The supporters here are just waiting. We saw the Magpies. They went in front by 10 points. Virtually the biggest margin in this game. A good snap over the shoulder. I've got to pick it up. I think it's Joshua Carr. So the Tigers now move out to a 10-point margin.
We talked about Josh Carr and his ability to run down wings and pick up plenty of the ball, play in the middle, play on the wing, play on a half-forward flank. He's got the job today of blanketing Brown. He sent Brown off with the blood rule, and the other dimensions are coming to the fore now. He takes a quick snap off the pack around the corner. He's a very, very clever player. Clever enough to be a very good player at AFL level.
That's a class act, that is. That's a great goal. Now, those 2 goals at the end of this second quarter, very valuable to the Bays. Bounce down the centre, pull in the ruck. Port Adelaide need to do something. Brown, the captain, he can certainly start it off. Gets it down there to half forward. Knocked away by Barton. It's good defensive work. Obst in there. Little handball away. Over to Holmes. What can the youngster do? He centres the ball. Goes down to full forward. Port Adelaide need a mark. They've got it. Looks like O'Loughlin. There goes the siren to end the first half of what a good mark by the youngster down the full forward area.
10 points the difference, Gary, and this one, a kick for goal will make it very, very interesting.
Well, it's going to even this first half up. That's what it deserves. This game deserves a very tight first half. O'Loughlin, the kid, needs a goal. Pressure on him. Walks in, puts it on the wall. Didn't look good off the break, but it's through. It's through. That's a great goal to Port Adelaide, right on the siren. And they lead by 4 points, Glenelg at half-time.
Glenelg kicked 3 goals that quarter. Port Adelaide got 4. 1 right on the siren, a very important one. We go into half-time with a 4-point ball game. The most bruising encounter we've seen this year, no question about it. Players on and off with the blood rule. The heat is a factor. Fitness will be a factor. I think we're looking at a great second half. Stay with us. You're watching SANFL football live and exclusive to ABC Sport with Port Adelaide 6-6. Glenelg 7 goals 4. Well, I think you'd be enjoying this. If you weren't enjoying this, I think you'd be pretty hard to please. Stay with us throughout halftime as we preview tomorrow's Showdown 6. It's Port Adelaide and the Crows at Footy Park tomorrow afternoon. Another big match of footy in South Australia. We'll also speak with Glenelg captain Nick Chigwidden, and we'll also catch up with a couple of book reviews, if you don't mind. We're going arty on you. But Gary, we know who rejoins us, Gary. Tomorrow, Showdown 6. I guess if there's one game in town other than the grand final that captures the imagination, this is it.
Well, it always does. It's very exciting. The Crows lead, what, 3-2?
Yes.
And you would think Port Adelaide would start favourites, and I think they did early in the week, David. But the Crows and Blighty seem to really want to get back into this. The Crows look to me as they've got more talent.
Robin's back, Barty's back.
That's right. So they've still got a lot of premiership players. So I'm slightly leaning to them, but it means more to Port Adelaide. Again, it's probably a test for them. How good are they for the finals coming up?
We're about to find out, Michael Parsons, how good Port Adelaide are. A win makes sure that they have a place in the finals and a place in history as the first Port Adelaide side to make the finals, and a loss and they're very vulnerable.
Port Adelaide, they have got history on the doorstep. They really do want to make the finals. It was their stated goal right at the start of the year. Very, very keen to get there, and it's just going to be a big day, isn't it? Showdowns always are. Full house, a lot of excitement around, been a lot of emotion down at Port Adelaide this week, but just getting out there tomorrow and watching a great game of footy is what it's all about.
Gary, the Crows won 3 out of their last, won 3 out of the last 5 showdowns. You said 3 out of the 3-2, so they're not really the favourites.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think Port Adelaide, I just don't know how good they are. They should make the 8. They've done well enough to do there. They're probably, I would say, not as an exciting side as the Crows, and you'd probably lean to them, but I tell you, it's going to be very interesting if those players like Robber and Barty and all the premiership players get going, I think they could sneak in. You never know.
Michael Parsons, Andrew McLeod plays his 100th game for the Crows tomorrow, and milestone games seem to be a feature for the Crows. They seem to get up for them.
Yes, he's a great player, isn't he, Andrew McLeod? So quick, and he's been hampered this year by injury, that knee injury that has worried him the whole year. But him in the midfield, it's somewhere that they haven't really dominated this year like they did last year. But if their midfield players can get the ball and push it forward, players like James, get the hand on the ball, I think Adelaide, although they're not going to play in the finals, they've still got a real chance tomorrow.
As we go to the lineups, Gary, there's still plenty of quality amongst both outfits.
There certainly is, and the key to the Port Adelaide side, that we know about their quickness, but it's also French and Lade are the big keys. I don't know if the Crows can match that, but those French in the ruck there has been very good this year. The running players around the centre have been good. Nick Stevens has come back to real form. Wanganeen, even though he's had a cold through the week, is a brilliant player. Defence good. It should be a real good game.
Mark Daly, I guess the Power look most strong in ruck.
Yes, David, just see there with Big Barnaby French. He's held down that rucking position all season. He's done an outstanding job, but with him and also with Blade, those two players there with their height, with Pittman missing this week, really I think those two players will dominate.
Good comment as we go to the Crows lineup, and David Pittman announced his retirement this week, Gary. And obviously with the knee injury, he knew that he couldn't rehab, and it was time to go.
Well, he's one of those funny things. He's an intelligent footballer. He's given it away. I would have hoped he'd played on a bit longer, but he's had his ups and downs with the Crows. A premiership player, though, they will miss him in ruck. And the key there is Robert. I've seen him play a couple of good games in ruck. To me, he's not a true ruckman, but he plays well there. If he plays there, they'll miss him up forward.
Fair enough. Who's your tip, Gary?
Oh, I think I'll lean to the Crows just.
All right, as we go down to Mark Naley on the boundary. I guess you'll go for the Power, Mark.
Yes, David, I think I'll have to. Just a little bit too strong, but what a week it's been. A bit of a cat and mouse with the Crows. All of a sudden realised they've only got 22 players fit for this Sunday's game. I just think the Power just got too much going for them, too much to play for.
And what about Big Michael?
Yes, I'd love to be able to front up at work on Monday morning and glow about a Crows victory, but unfortunately I think that's going to be a tough ask this week. We'll go with the Power.
Well, I guess what's wrong with these Crows? I've got to jump. What's wrong with these two? The Crows are 2 premierships behind.
We'll all be down there. I guess we'll find out tomorrow afternoon in a maximum capacity crowd at Footy Park for the big one. I think we'll all be enjoying that and live coverage as well. Well, a little closer to home during the week, we caught up with Nick Chigwidden, the Glenelg captain, for this interview.
My early memories of the club, running around with Laurie Rosewarne coaching the under-17s, and he was out of the Neil Curley stage with pretty vocal and abusing the boys, but he certainly got the best out of us. And my first game was against Centrals at Footy Park, and I was playing in the forward pocket and standing Scotty Lee at that stage, and happened to be lucky enough to get a couple of early touches, and Scotty wasn't real happy, so he belted me around the ears a bit, but Alan Stringer came to my saviour and got him back. All your opponents are pretty tough, but I'd say had some good duels with Gary McIntosh from out Nordway, and but lately Brody Atkinson from Sturt's a great player, and he's always works really hard and a hard man to man up on, and Timmy Ginnan from Port we had some pretty good games with too. There's been plenty of standout players down the bay here over the last, especially in my time with old Kernahans and McDermott's and the Marshalls and Tony Hall, so there's so many champions back then. Yeah, well, I was drafted by Sydney in 87 or 88, and that was before the Crows, obviously, and we had many champion players still at Glenelg, so I decided I want to stay here with those champions and try to make a name for myself here before I went across. The biggest influence in my career would be probably, most of my coaches have all had a huge input, but Kim Hodgman, who I sort of idolised as a kid when he came here, and I ended up playing with him, and he was my coach. He sort of taught me a lot about being a rover, and which was obviously great. And Mark Williams was fantastic when he was as well. Gave me a lot of confidence and was a great coach. Well, Tony's had a huge influence on the side. He's always very positive, and he builds the boys up, and has certainly got them believing in themselves and playing to a real structured team plan. And especially this year, after the initial 12 months of getting everything settled out, he's certainly having a huge impact on the side. And Tony's got a very attacking coaching style where you back yourself in, but you've also got to have a very strong defensive skill as well. The Glenelg Footy Club's been a huge part of my life for 15 years probably now, and it means a great deal to me and my family, and they've certainly supported me over the years, and I'd like to part that with some success. The old legs hopefully will carry me for a little bit longer. I'm looking for another 2 months hopefully this year, and then we'll weigh it up at the end of the year.
I think you could go again, and speaking of going again, Gary, I know you've got one of these, Pride of the Bay, the history of the Glenelg Football Club.
It's absolutely sensational, and John Wood there has done a great job. Also there with Peter Cornwall. It's a terrific read, and the Pride of the Bay, it certainly is just that.
39.95, 170 photographs in there, the whole history of the Glenelg Football Club. Another great book release through the week was the Foss Williams book, Dynasty, written by Michelangelo Rucci. He's down on the boundary line right now, the author, with Michael Parsons.
Yes, Ruch, congratulations on the book. It's been fabulously well received around town, and you're telling me some stories that another big queue today at Westlakes.
Foss was at Westlakes with Lon and Jenny today, and they were a queue of about 200 metres and there for 2.5 hours signing, so the passion for Port Adelaide and for Foss Williams just shows no limits.
And a collector's item already, I believe, sold out?
Virtually sold out. We're trying to get the presses running quick to meet the demand that's out there from Port Adelaide people, not just Port people, but football people who are just so keen to know about our football history in this state.
And what was the best part about being involved so closely with the family as you wrote the book?
Just getting to know one of the great South Australian sporting families who have done so much not only for football in this state, but just the culture of this state as well. You look at the West End chimney, that's Foss Williams' idea. So he's just had such an impact on South Australia for the last 50 years that to actually get to feel that, to actually be hearing the stories from the man himself was just too much of an honour to ever explain.
And is there any one thing that does stand out in your mind as one of the things that he's left most for South Australia?
I think the key that is what he's left to South Australia is he put together a football club that could be taken away from a suburban competition like no other and be a proud football club in the AFL. That's his working. That's what he set up. He set up Port Adelaide from 1950 to be an AFL club.
Michelangelo, again, fantastic reception for the book. Congratulations, and I'll try and sneak out sometime next week when the presses run and grab a copy myself.
Yeah, do that. Thank you.
We got one, Gary, and here's mine right in front of me. And thanks to Michelangelo Rucci, and also to the Peacock Press, Johnny Scardino and the boys. They're giving us... Do we have to pay for this, by the way?
No, I'm going to take that one home. And I'd just like to say about Foss Williams, he's touched us all in South Australian football.
Yes.
The greatest of them all, there's no doubt about that.
Yep.
And the family, the dynasty goes on. Wonderful book. Rucci, you did well, mate. I didn't think you had it in you.
And so did Foss and Jenny, and all the Williams family did a great job. It's certainly, I've only read the first half of the book, Gary, but it is a great read and worthwhile getting.
We need more of that. You need the history of South Australian sport and that as people. That means so much to us.
Well, we were looking for some footage on Foss Williams, and back in our archives we've got some great footage on Foss's approach to the three-quarter time huddle.
Well, I think that you will have an image that what they expect from you is, and what they expect from me is to ride them most of the time, and they'd be disappointed if I wasn't trying to make it, give them some incentive to go on with the last quarter.
Stand out here afterwards, let the crowd have a look. Swing home and back. Guys over the mound there, well, they're going to ask you, are you going to run? Well, get moving. He's not ready to go. I want to play footy.
Gary shoved out. You put the boots on?
Oh, if you've never been to a Foss Williams huddle, you haven't lived.
9 premierships with Port Adelaide.
Heads, I better put them all down.
Only one of 10 coaches admitted to the Australian Hall of Fame.
And he deserves to be there. Look, we could talk about Foss Williams forever. The greatest ever, and it's just great that he's now in print, so we all know.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy the read, no question about that. One injured magpie who's with us today is Stephen Brosnan. He's got a shoulder injury, and he's down on the boundary line with Michael Parsons.
Yes, with me, Steve Brosnan. And Steve, you came down here. You had the shades on. I thought you only had one injury, but you're pretty well beaten up from last Friday night.
Yeah, I'll sort of come off second best to the clash last week, and I'll probably miss a few weeks now, probably 4, the AC joint.
So does your AC joint, but it's been described to me earlier in the day that it's one of the best body clashes they've ever seen in Australian rules football. Probably not the fame you want, but it'll probably do.
Yeah, well, I can't really remember much of it. I just remember running in and then waking up, so I haven't seen it on video, but everyone tells me that, so...
It'll be one to send your mother, but the commitment to the ball today, it's with the Port Adelaide team, is carrying on. Everybody seems to be getting keyed up for the finals.
Oh, definitely. That's what Steve Williams likes to see in his players, and this time of the year, yeah, getting serious about it, so...
And is there any particular program set already for the finals that you're aware of, a bye next week and then a good game coming up against Sturt?
I'd say we work pretty hard next week in the bye and, yeah, ready for Sturt. Really prepare ourselves for that big match.
And the feeling around the club, you had a great start, 7 in a row at the start, but then things got a little bit wobbly through the middle of the year?
Yeah, Port always seemed to have a bit of a slump in the middle of the year, and I suppose there's another one, but nothing to panic about.
And looking forward to playing in a grand final. If things come right for you, how long do you think you'll be out?
I'd say 4 weeks, another 3 to go, and then have to wait and see what happens after that, hopefully.
All right, Steve, thanks very much for taking the time to come and talk to you. Put those shades back on and go and rest that elbow. Okay.
It was a great physical clash too. I mean, he looks terrible, mind you, Gary, but it was a great physical clash at Port Oval.
He stirred up everyone in South Australia, and that's what we live for. And he's walking and living, a youngster that's got through it. He'll remember for the rest of his life, even though he can't remember it.
He needs some gridiron padding to do that again.
Oh, what a clash.
Well, we also went back into the archives. We pulled out this one. It's the 1977 grand final between Port Adelaide and Glenelg. Now, Gary, stay with us. There's John Cahill.
Cahill. These flashbacks.
His brother played in the forward pocket. Cornsey's there, 12.
Fell over.
Now, you'd remember a lot of these blokes. Belton was there. Evans was there. Dave Granger was at centre-half forward.
That's right.
For Port Adelaide.
What a name he was there. Peter White there, it looked like.
Yeah, Paul Policia was named. Now, you'd remember these blokes, would you? Copping,
that's right. The long arms. Terrific player for the Bays.
Now, Peter Marker was playing
Caldwell
the side.
there.
Twiggy Caldwell, who's in the grandstand here today, by the way. I saw him coming up, Twiggy. He's back watching.
Had some good years there.
And who's that been carried off? You would have remembered this game.
Just can't pick him up. There's...
Now, that's Pake, isn't it?
Pake. Yeah, I tell you what, it's hard to get the numbers down.
Now, Pake kicked 5 in that match. DK Phillips kicked 3. Brady and Carey kicked 2. And for Port Adelaide, Evans kicked 7. Eckerman kicked 3. Now, he was named at half-back. Eckerman kicked 3 goals.
Have a look at the crowd there.
Granger kicked 2 and Cunningham.
Bucky Cunningham,
Bucky, and
number 8.
As you expect, the blue develops, as it must.
Always will. That was terrific stuff. Fred Phillips, number 19 for the Bays there.
DK.
Oh, what they are.
Did you enjoy that, Gary?
That was terrific.
Now, do you remember who won?
I'm just trying to remember now.
Port won.
Port won just.
8 points. Very
That's
good.
Right,
I'll give you the final score. I just dug it out. 17-11 to 16 goals, 9. Some of our footage is a little archaic and without sound, but I think they're worthwhile showing.
They're absolutely sensational, and the kids love them too, looking back in the past. And there were some great games, the Bays and Port.
I think DK Phillips has got some memories of him, that long hair and moustache, by the way.
Yeah.
What about that? Well, back a little closer to home, we had some great action in the first half, no question about it. And I thought Port Adelaide in the second quarter were particularly good, rebounding out of their defence, and their rebound resulted in this goal to Evans.
They kicked 4 goals, that's right, that's good play. Good strong play by Fraser there. Port Adelaide needs something this time. O'Loughlin puts a long kick in. Have a look at this. Good full forward play, that is. We've seen good full forwards for Port Adelaide. This kid does well. That strength that he marks in front and finishes off with a good goal just when Port Adelaide needed it.
Well, he got another one just moments later, Evans. O'Loughlin gets the ball.
He's done well, O'Loughlin, since he's come on, hasn't he?
He's made a bit of an impact. He's slick, isn't he?
Looks a good lad. That's a good kick. And have a look at Evans in front now. That's a good take. They're very hard to do. Running out flat out. He knew he had to dive forward, did it without any worries.
His finishing was pretty good too. What's he kicked? 2 goals, 3? 2 goals, 2?
He's whacked it through. That was a good goal. He's kicked 2 in that second quarter.
He's done pretty well. I thought Lance Piccone, we've been pretty impressed with him, finding plenty of the ball, plenty of the hard ball. When he gets this ball inside 50, he just straightens up. Nick Shigwin sets it all up beautifully. He's been their real power player, and they've centred it all day.
Have a look at this play. Arches the back, goes through. He knew he had to do it. The Bays needed this goal. Goes in for about 45. That's a great goal. He's played well, Piccone. Good to see. He's copped a bit lately.
They were down 9 points at that stage. They got 10 points up, and Port Adelaide reeled them back in with a late goal. 4 points the margin at half-time. If you've just joined us, this has been a cracking game, and you've really missed, I think, 2 of the toughest quarters of football we've seen this year.
Well, you can get the tape on ABC. I'm going to get that because that's the best half I've seen this year.
Well, no question about that. As we go to the half-time scoreboard here at Brighton Road, it's 7-4 Glenelg, 6 goals, 6 Port Adelaide. 4 points with plenty to come.
There certainly is a top game of footy, and it's been great. There's the goal kickers. Fedema, he got 3 goals in the first quarter. Looked all right up full forward. Bartlett, McIntyre, that great mark. Carr and Piccone. And for Port Adelaide, Evans kicked 2. Philippo, McGuinness, O'Loughlin, Holmes, 1 each.
Mark Ailey has the stats. Interesting stats, particularly the inside 50, Mark.
Yes, Dave, we just see their inside 50. Well, that's pretty even. The Tigers came back in that last quarter to lead by 25 to 24. But other than that, the mark's still favouring the Tigers. Freezer even hit-outs were still favouring the Tigers as well, with with Todd Winstanley having 11 hit-outs there up to half-time, really is controlling the game. And just individually, some of the individual stats we see there with Chiggy, the captain's had 16, he's had 8 and 8 so far up to half-time. Lance Piccone and also Alistair Burke and Cook have all had 13 possessions. And for the Magpies, well, McGuinness has had 16, 11 kicks and 5 handballs. And word's been told to me that most of those have been ineffective. Lachlan with 12, and David Brown with 11. And
thank you, Mark. In other matches around town this afternoon, the Eagles and Norwood at Woodville Oval at half-time. The Eagles are 6-8, Norwood a 3-6, 20-point margin. The Eagles in control there, but Norwood are good enough to get back. And at Elizabeth Oval, the Bulldogs are at home. They're 8-6, North Adelaide 4-6, with plenty of football left in that match. As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary, Michael, a tough, hard first half, and no doubt a lot of injuries on the bench.
Yes, we'll go and check on the injuries in a little while, David, but we know Fogden's hurt his knee, and there's been a couple of nice clashes with Fraser in particular opened up the top of his head. But I think I'd agree with you. This is probably, that first quarter in particular, was the best footy that we've seen this year. It was hard, it was fast, and it was skillful. It was a real exhibition of Australian rules football here in the local league in front of, what I must say, is probably one of the better crowds I've seen at the Bays since the glory days of the late 80s when North and the Bays used to have some fantastic fights down here.
You'd remember those, Michael. Brian Lee's an interested onlooker in the crowd. Brian Binky next to him. Brian Lee's, we're told, has a rib injury. The club is officially listing him as general soreness.
Hey, I heard there was a bit worse than that.
What are you saying, Gary?
Well, I've heard some rumours. I don't know, because it's only rumours to me, but that it's a bit worse than just soreness. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes up or not.
Are you suggesting that Brian Lee's got a broken rib and not a sore rib?
Well, that's what's going around, and I tell you what, you never know, he's a tough player, but interesting to see when he comes back.
Well, I think he'd be playing even if they were broken, so I think there's got to be other things attached to him, but he's certainly passionate, Brian Lee's, about his football, and he'd love the way this game is developing. Well, the squads are out and a big crowd here at Brighton Road. Hope you're enjoying this at home. If you're thinking about coming down, I think you'll enjoy the second half as well. If not, stay with us. We are live on ABC TV Sport until 5 o'clock.
Great crowd there, Gary, as we see there. The grandstands are full, the outers are full, the old Snouts bar, there's plenty of people down that end. We just see Coach Tony McGuinness just wandered out to his troops there in the middle of the ground, still out there barking out orders, the style of football that he wants to be played after half-time. It really has been great. We saw him a couple of weeks ago, David, down at Woodville Oval, take it up to the Eagles. We just wanted the Tigers to go on, and they did. The last quarter, they were exceptional. They took it right up to the Eagles.
I think that was probably the real confidence booster in their season. The Eagles were playing good football. Gary, at that stage in Glenelg, that day were devastating.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tony McGuinness deserves a lot of credit for this. Remember last year that he was under a lot of pressure from a lot of people because they had an ordinary year, the first-year coach in there, and this year he's turned around. He told me that he interviewed about 200 players this year. He knew they'd get talent there. He interviewed himself because they didn't have the resources, and I reckon it's paid with people like Fetimer, Melody and all these have come to the club, but it gives them that balance, and they're in a chance for the finals this year.
I just asked Dave, he's pretty good on this. The injury list of both clubs, I think the Tigers would have at least 5, 6, possibly 7 players out at the moment that you have to go through. There's players such as, I saw Hill in the grandstand out here before. There's also players to come back like Corns, who's also qualified for the finals. You'd have Bo that's qualified for the finals. Really, I mean, the number of players to come back in. Okay, the Magpies have got quite a few, but I think the Tigers also could have quite a number coming back.
Good point.
Golding as well.
Very good point.
Tigers.
Golding. Rouvray has got a calf injury. And Liptak, is he qualified, fellas?
Liptak has.
So, gee, you look at, you say that he interviewed 200 players, but I think for a squad that we thought 3 years ago was gone, truthfully, he has really rebuilt them. They're out of the ashes, truly.
And I like the way the club's going down here. They've really got back the Bay spirit again. They want to win. They get big crowds back to their club, and that's what I like to see in footy.
The Phoenix Football Club, out of the ashes.
Yeah, and they'll need to go on with it now in this second half.
To be fair, under the Stringer brothers, I don't know what happened.
I think that just everyone pulled it apart.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was just amazing, that was.
As we go down to Michael Parsons.
Yes, as we said, there's been a great crowd here today. A lot of black and white, a lot of black and yellow, but Michael, you've got me a bit confused, mate.
Oh, look, I'm a Bays man through and through. Don't let the black and white fool you. I'm a Bays man through and through.
And who do you reckon you're going to get up and win this close game?
Oh, Glenelg all the way, mate. We're going to take it out in the fourth quarter.
That bloke, Gary, has no brains at all.
Have a look at that.
No brains at all, that bloke. Black and white T-shirt with a tiger scarf.
You get them all at the footy, don't you? And I tell you what, down here, the big crowd Start of the second half at the Bay Oval on ABC Sport. Pools in the ruck. He gets the first tap away. This is important this third quarter. For the Bays, they're going to have to put the pressure on. I still believe, and everyone does, that Port Adelaide are the champions, are the ones you've got to get there if you're going to win the premiership this year. Can the Bays have a good second half? They lead by 4 points at half-time. We're in the centre. It's been a rough, tough, aggressive, hard-tackling game on the small Bay Oval. Have a look at that there. Carr has worn the captain, Brownie, all day. Been a tough clash. As the ball's knocked wide. This little Howard's done pretty well out there. Can he get it up? He'll need pace. He does it well. Centre wing on the outer side. Beautiful conditions. Drives down into attack. Knocked away by Fegan. Is good play.
Answer to this, Gary. Which one of these sides is going to be more penetrating on a big oval like Football Park?
Oh, I reckon Port Adelaide. See, I've still got to be won by the Bays. They've got a lot more work to do yet. Today they're going a short way in this first half towards doing it. There's the knockaway. David Brown gets the handball. Doesn't go on anyone in particular. Fraser, great tackle, pulled off the ball. The Bays using the ball beautifully. Over to Raiders. He gets the long kick, goes up forward. Fegan can't mark. It's near the line. He just runs it out of play. Throw in. Was that deliberate, the crowd yell? No. Throw in. Right half forward, great for Glenelg.
Glenelg a little bit like a foreign legion, aren't they? A bit like Sturt in some respects. Sujay Cook and Kelly from Norwood. We might cover the rest of them shortly.
Ball's forward again. Jiggy's got off the ground with a soccer. Magnificent goal there by the captain and Jiggy. That is fantastic. And David, I think that's his 250th.
That's his 250th goal in 273 matches. And that's a memorable one.
Where'd it come from?
Memorable? Goals. Strike a light.
Bang. Half volley.
Look at that.
Half volley under pressure from Fegan, and the finish is beautiful.
None of us could have kicked that. That was brilliant.
I don't think I ever got one like that.
Oh, I did a couple of them, but that was brilliant by Chidwin. That was absolutely set. And how important was it? Back in the centre. Poole, what can he do? Handballs away. Fraser, there's that blocking off the boot that's so important. There's the ball wide. Carr, he's an inspired man. He does beautifully. The Bays into attack. Long kick. He looked for an option. He found one, and it's Burke. Burke goes short. They're running. As the ball bounced awkwardly, has taken in there by the Bays. Kick it long by Rubenik. Goes into the full forward area. Vetimer, not a very good handball. Kick off the ground again by the Bays. Pachoni, it's down 15 metres out from the Bays goal. Heavy body work there. Good tackling in there, young McAtee. It's on the ground, 15 metres out, bounce down.
The Glenelg fans love it. Higgins sat on the ball to smother it. Fair dinkum, he won't be sitting down tonight. But that's the commitment you need if you're going to win a big match like this.
10 points up the Bays as we're in only a couple of minutes into the third quarter. This is important for them. They're down within goal-scoring range again. Heavy tackling. Have a look at that. Crunch to the ground. Another bounce down, and that looked like Carr again, was it? Good stuff. Another bounce down. 15 metres out. The Bays need a goal. Third quarter, it counts. The Bay ladies, they're here again today getting into me. You'll see them at the Crows, you see them at the Bay, you see them everywhere. All those old ducks. There's the ball. Out of there to Carr. He kicks towards goal. Oh, it's a shocker. Saw your leg off. Out on the full.
Those old ducks didn't take to being called old ducks, Gary, I can tell you.
An umbrella coming in our direction.
They usually throw things at me. It's usually bitchy.
You try and get out of the grandstand at Glenelg Oval tonight.
Nigel Fegan's back there. The Tigers still attacking well in this third quarter. Oh, well done by a call that. He went to drop it to kick it, release it.
Didn't that play on?
Dropped the football. Umpire giving him the benefit of the doubt. The balls have got McEntee again, the big flyer. Good work by Fraser, back to northeast. He needs to run this northeast. Comes in board again. The Tigers over the top through Higgins. As he found a bit of direction, has gone right across the face of goals. And Jared Poulton just sees it out over the line. And down at Brown level, we've got the Glenelg bench with Michael Parsons.
Yes, you can see Justin Scripps, who's come off from the forward line, and David Gretmold, who was a little bit ordinary, although he kicked a goal, but Fogden, of course, nursing that knee injury in the rooms.
And it's in the goal square again. The Bays battling. Poole goes in hard. Courage from everyone. Taken by Chigwin. He kicks towards goal. Touched off the boot. Play on. It's down there right in the danger area. Fegan's got it. Beautiful block off the boot there by Nicholas. It's still there. Great tackle. The ball pops out. Who's there? It's Josh Carr. Can he make a hero of himself? No! It's a shocker. It's offline. game of football. 8-5 Glenelg, Port Adelaide 6-6.
Joshy Carr kicks that, and Glenelg, on a wave of emotion.
They had to get that. They can't miss these. Sorry, David,
Well,
keep talking.
He's missed it.
As the pressure from the Glenelg forwards are there, keeping the ball in that area. I reckon I've counted 3 or 4 smothers already in this game in this third quarter. Coming through again, released by Nicholas. Chiggy working overtime again. Smother, another smother. Put that down for another stat. I'd love to see them this afternoon. O'Loughlin favoured by the bounce. Oh, great handball going to ground. Coming through Harvard's Biscuit. He's got to boot the ball. He does that. Kelly can't pick it up. He has support by Winstanley. Winstanley also just chips it out wide. They have the runners here. Just needs to sit for Burke. He'll take it inside the boundary line. Swings around on his right leg. Then heads towards centre half forward. Where's the fly? McEntee, one hand up. In there as well as Picotti. Big Darryl Poole goes to ground. Gives the handball across. Good work by Mad Dog Morgan across to McGuinness. But McGuinness comes wide. And the kick's off the ground. Oh, it's a tough out there.
Oh, he missed him. Missed Burke. Have a look at that.
You won't miss him next time.
Oh, have a look at that. But that's what football, you have eyes in the back of your head. He had it. He knew it was coming. They all know it's coming. 36 committed players out there. We're on centre wing, right in front of our ABC commentary position. And there's a hang of a go there. Oh, Hahn comes through. Look at the coverage. He pulls through. He's caught. No, don't ping him. No, I don't want to ping him. He tried too hard.
Well, that umpire said it wasn't too high because he had his head ducked.
On the way back from the boundary there at half-time, I saw the umpire's observer, Frankie McHugh, down there. I said, fella, they're doing a good job. 9 out of 10. He said to me, nailed. He said they've only made one mistake that I've counted.
What was it?
Up here in the forward line.
There's a free kick gone to David Brown. He snaffled a free kick out of nothing. Kicks it long and high to centre half forward. Oh, beautifully read by McGuinness. That's brilliant from the Rover. Into the goals. He needs a goal. It's a great goal. A goal of the day, McGuinness. Well done, Brownie. That's his second. What a game of football. Port Adelaide, terrific running play.
McGuinness, well, that was just sensational, wasn't it? 13 kicks, 5 handballs, 18 possessions. And we are just on 7.5 minutes. That is roving at its finest. Took it off the pack, got a shepherd, sprinted, steadied, bends it back into the breeze. I don't know that you just get much better than that. Running, goal-kicking football. This fellow could win a medal, couldn't he, and emulate his brother?
Oh, Dickon, that's brilliant play, the play of the day.
5 points favouring the Tigers. There's a bounce down again. Winstanley takes it out of the air. Around on his left boot again. Jumping out in front of the pack. Good work there. Great tackle from behind. Oh, the Glenelg supporters, they're getting into this game. They realise their side's taking it up.
He's called ball. He's called ball.
He had the ball, he ran. See, that's what I'm saying. You change your mind all the time. He ran, he had a chance to get rid of it, didn't he? You've got to do it one way or the other.
We used to stop arguing.
Oh, strike, you lot.
And Paulton over the top, coming out like a steam train was ribbing it, coming across with Visca, takes the players out. An umpire has found a free kick. It will come the Tigers' way. It does. We'll come back to Burke.
Double jeopardy. Visca just crashed through and took out McGuinness, and Holmes came through and thought, well, bugger it, I'll take one too.
Alistair Burke. Got a player in short. The kick is dangerous, but he'll find Howard. Howard hits the ground running, takes on the Iceman, then releases the kick forward. They've got the numbers up here. Yes! McEntee!
I like this kid.
There's a lot to like, isn't it? But let me say, when he's not marking the ball, the criticism must be, when he's not marking the ball, his second and third efforts still aren't good enough at this level.
Good point.
But when he marks it, doesn't he look exciting?
He's got to kick this now, though. They can't miss these goals.
McEntee tight on the boundary line, comes back with the kick. It's a high ball. The umpire comes back into the middle of the goal square. McEntee's happy. The Glenelg fans are on their feet. Might be a little bit too early yet, but 9-5, 59. The Magpies 7-6, 48.
Well, look how quickly it comes in. Now, this fellow, Howard, we talk about Aaron Fiora. He's actually taken Fiora apart.
He has.
If you don't mind.
Look at the size of him.
There's nothing to him. Yeah, Burke was on him before, but this quarter, Howard has gone on to Fiora, and he's picked up plenty of the ball. And when the ball's coming in that quickly, McEntee is terrific as we go down to Michael Parsons.
Yes, McEntee's impressing me as well. We saw him play a great game down here early in the year, and then out at Centrals one day we saw him sort of jumping under the ball, but today he's got his game right. While that was going on, Wade has come on for Holmes for that little indiscretion and gave away the free kick. that led to that last goal.
And Brenton Bascom's coming on for his first game for Port Adelaide as the kick from Fiora goes into the half-forward line, knocked away by Bartlett. The Bays are inspired. Have they got enough juice in the tank? And petrol's pretty dear nowadays too. They're going to need a bit.
Well, they're going to need a bit more to hold Port Adelaide at bay. Port Adelaide will just keep coming at you. And this is a great test for Glenelg. I don't know that Tony McGuinness will be too unhappy. This is a test that he wanted to have. They've beaten them by 6 goals in the 2 other encounters this year. He knows they've improved. Today he's about to find out how much they've improved.
The Bays lead by 11 points. And we're into the third quarter by 11 minutes. The Bays need to score. Whatever you say, they're going with the slight breeze in this third quarter. Burke had 17 possessions to Fiora's 6. Is that right?
We might draft Burke.
Oh, the Bays have got to get out of this attack. Pachoni's got it. He's been cool under pressure today. Handball's wide. There's 2 Bay players out there. Can Bartlett get down? The big horse does well. Oh, the kick's beautiful. He's found Howard. Howard's under pressure. He gets it away to Sujay Cook. He kicks goalwards. McAtee can't mark. Higgins into the open goal. It's another one. The Bays on fire. The export players banged it through. Oh, have a look at that. And we're only in the third quarter. 10-5 the Bays. Port Adelaide 7-6. And the old Ducks are going there to the Bay grandstand.
17 points is enough. Great Chase Fraser here. Justifies enough pressure. But look at Sujay. Under plenty of pressure. Just gets it forward. McAtee presented himself beautifully. Took front position. And roving Higgins is right where you want him to be. Streaming downfield. That's a great opportunist goal.
Well, turn your volumes down at home. Gary Window's getting excited. The voice is getting louder and louder.
Sorry, boys.
Joey out to enjoying this contest.
Don't be sorry, Gary. Just keep at it.
Keep going. Comes out wide. Pachoni should run onto. He's getting support there by his captain and Chick Whitten. Chick Whitten now gets involved in the contest. Straightens the body up. Heads home with the kick. Where's McIntyre at the back? The fly will be there. Nearly got his hands to the football. Jared Paulton takes it. Cool at the cucumber. Comes back. Changes direction. Couldn't find Morgan. Coming in again with Chick Whitten. Check side. Spots. Looks. Lifts the eyes. Releases the kick. Home it goes, 25 metres, maybe not.
No, he won't need it. Kevin Chambers won't fall for that. Higgins doesn't need a 25-metre to put this through. Now, what are they, 17 points up, fellas. Momentum's with the Bays. Philippo's off. So Port Adelaide revamping their forward structure, but I think they're getting beaten in the midfield.
They certainly are, Pachoni and Chick Whitten.
Higgins puts it on its way. He's flattened himself. He must be happy with it. That's his second this quarter. The Tigers, you heard Dave Mackay go further ahead.
23 points, not enough still. Port Adelaide are more than capable of getting back in this contest. Glenelg, if they maintain the intensity, could win this by 4 or 5 goals, but if they just lapse for a moment or two, it lets Port Adelaide back in. 26 kicks to Glenelg this quarter, 9 kicks, Gary, to Port Adelaide.
Well, I'd never write Port Adelaide off. Let's look around the grounds in Adelaide. And there's the Eagles of Norwood. Eagles lead 50-32. Good by them. Central 72-32, beating North. And we're at the Bay Oval. The ABC Sport, Glenelg 11-5, leading Port Adelaide 7-6. We're in the third quarter. The Bay's doing everything right with the slight breeze to the northern end. I'm not going to write them off yet, Port Adelaide, but I tell you what, the Bays are playing inspired football, and that little Pachoni, he's played terrific. Chick Whitten's been brilliant, and that's where they're winning. This bloke Winstanley, big number 11 there for the Bays, doing well. And there's the quick kick. They've got to get that out there. Goes down to the half-forward line. Good take. Port Adelaide out of there. That's good play. The long kick goes there up the Rubenek direction. That was kicked away by young Bascom. Got his kick there in league football for Port. The ball's kicked out of play. Heavy body work. Throw in right half-forward flank. Oh, this is exciting down here. This Bay crowd are giving it everything.
Look at it, Raiders, who was reported earlier in this match for tripping.
Ball comes down again for Rubenek. He's got players out wide. He goes in that direction, makes it harder for Howard. He might have the pace. Fiora's also young and enthusiastic. Gets to the contest first. Just couldn't quite control his kick. The handball's come back there by Sherwood. Couldn't keep it in. It's out of bounds over the boundary line. Oh, David.
He'd be a Port Adelaide fan.
Looks miserable, doesn't he? Not happy. His magpie charge is going down. Handball back by Paul. The Fraser. The ball's up. A charge to mark. Oh, free kick. Didn't just a little bit too late there on Brown. So Davey and Brown Hasn't seen much of the football this afternoon.
Boy from Tassie.
Yeah, Bernie, from Bernie. We've seen him play some good games. He's a good kick. You'd want to kick this.
Look at Chicky just coming over. We'll stand behind him. You can imagine what Chicky's saying to him right now.
He'd say, I like you, mate. You're a lovely bloke.
Nobody else in the vicinity. So just watch the kick from Brown. Damian Brown, that is. We're right behind the contest. Well, it just proves my theory about people over 6 foot, Gary Minden.
I knew you'd have a shot, Mark Daly. You're one of the nastiest little ankle biters I've ever seen.
Well, he had to be. He was so short.
He was a diddy bounce off, but he'll tell you what, he can play football. And those little blokes, we're the same with them. We always want to...
Oh, big push. Clear cut, that one.
And I think this is that youngster, Bascom, playing in his first league game for Port Adelaide. Looks a real goer.
Freaky bow boy.
Goes short. I don't know if that's the best option. Oh, big pack of players. Not a lot of them going for the ball. Comes down to the front. Heavy body work. Ashley's got it. Throws it away. Bascom scored. He went. He's gone to the umpire. Not going to play a decision.
Oh, get out of it. There he can.
Now he'll give it to him.
Oh, that's a square up. Bartlett now for the Bays. It's set half back. I tell you what, it's an exciting game of football. The kick's wide. Higgins, who's kicked the last 2 goals, gets it down into play. It's still in play. Nicholas, Higgins, Morgan, it's out of play. Throw in left half forward flank.
2 things wrong with Glenelg there. One, don't worry about what the umpire does. There were 6 players that went ballistic when the umpire blew his whistle. Lack of discipline.
David, it's enthusiasm.
Don't worry about that.
They got the free kick.
Tony McGuinness will get the tape out. In a final, he doesn't want them doing that. He wants them playing footy and focusing. And then they kick the ball wide, which they haven't done all day.
Oh, you'll get nice and picky on them.
Don't worry about that. Hey, they've been as disciplined as I've ever seen them today, and in 10 seconds, they throw half of it right out the window.
So, we're having a bit of a blue here at the ABC commentary box. It's the top game of footy. Shut up, you two. I want to tell the people that we're in a game of footy. It's on grandstand side, and Glenelg are leading 11-5, Port Adelaide 7-7, and we're into the 17-minute mark of the quarter as the ball goes down for the goals in the Bay attacking area. It's a minor score. Well, have a rest, Mark Daly. It's your chance.
Tell me, have you ever seen Glenelg this tough, this tight? This discipline?
Not about the Glenelg not being disciplined. What about the Port player gave the free kick away?
Well, it was a free
What
kick.
about that for being
He didn't carry on. He just...
Well, we're back with it. Well, still happening here. 72 plays 49. The Tigers are still up.
There's a new kid on the block, though, isn't there? I mean, if Glenelg can match this intensity through the finals, they've got to rate themselves a chance.
They've got to win this game first. I agree with you there.
But win, lose or draw, they're going to come out of this game regardless with an honourable mention.
Ball thrown in, taken again by Winstanley. Outstanding game has been from Todd Winstanley. Rubenik holds front position. The umpire again has put away. He's found the free kick. It'll come back to Rubenik. Must come back over your mark, young fella. He does that. Now we'll release the kick to Kelly. Kelly's got Raiders further afield. Just needs to tip it up over the top. Comes back inside to Rubenik. Rubenik's got players moving wide. He wants to go in that direction. He doesn't. A little chip kick again finds Howard. Howard gives the handball across to Kelly. Kelly just pops it up for McEntee. Where's the fly? Benema couldn't quite clean his feet. Running too hard again is Higgins. Has he got it? I think he has. He's third this quarter. Brett Higgins.
And again, they've squared it up. They started to come wide, straight down the corridor. Howard releases it. Kelly just set that up from the back line. Just brought it back into the corridor, straight down the big straw, right down the middle. Goal as easy as light. Now, when you're playing that sort of footy, you're just catching the defence out, aren't you? You go wide, they've got time to cut you off on the angles, and they are beautiful today, Glenelg. Look, Port Adelaide can get back in this match for sure, but Glenelg, their disciplines, their team disciplines today have been second.
Don't square up with us. Don't square up with us. 3 goals to Higgins, though. He's been terrific down there, and that pace on that attack was absolutely sensational. There's the blood rule. Fraser coming off. You're at the Bay Oval on ABC Sport. It's an absolute ripper. Glenelg throwing it up to Port Adelaide. Glenelg 12 goals 6, leading Port Adelaide 7-7. And I tell you, it's a big effort. Still a long way to go in this game. Stay with us. I tell you, it's not going to get any easier. 5 goals to 1 this quarter for the Bay side is sensational. Well done, Ian Moggeridge. Bounce down in the centre of the ground. The Bay crowd going mad. You'd expect that. Hard, tough game of football. Poole in there, tries to take it there. Richard Kelly has been good all day in the centre for Glenelg. He's the type of player you need. He can't get it out there. Bounce down.
Or he's like a Sherman tank, and Richard Kelly just put the ball between his legs.
Another
and away he went. Yeah, that's Fraser. Just came off there.
We've had a few today. You'd expect that. Even Captain Brown was off. He caught one early. There's been a bit of that today. Hard, tough as Polton over the back for Port Adelaide. Knocks it wide. This will be good. Ashley and Howard. I've been impressed with him for the Bays today. Good pick up there by Sujay Cook. Tries to get it back. Heavy body work. Body's going down. They can't get it out of there. Coming through is O'Loughlin. Threw the ball away. He was tackled, threw it away, and Sujay Cook has got the free kick on centre wing.
You like this one, Gary? Glenelg have not beaten Port Adelaide here since 1995.
They still haven't yet either. Out the outer side of the ground. Ashley goes long for the Magpies. What can Port Adelaide do in there? Offhand. Plenty of Bay players around that contest. Can't get it out. Bounce down again. Good conditions here. There's a slight breeze going the way that Glenelg are going in this third quarter. Port Adelaide will come home going down to that northern end. The Bays lead 12-6. Port Adelaide 7-7. It's a pretty good lead, but a long way to go.
Ball's bounced down again. Hobbs over the top. The punch forward. Picconi's in there. He should take this. Good work there by O'Loughlin. Picconi's back in there again over the top of the football. Just sense there. There's the old store. Look at him there. Harry Kernahan, former great Glenelg Football Club, along with Graham Corn sitting alongside of him, and the current president, Mr. Hood, there sitting just behind Mr. Kernahan. The ball's down again. I've been loving this contest. Back to Visca. Visca just chips the ball out, realising players just running onto it. Bit of space there created. Jumps back. Polton couldn't keep it in. Quite happy to see the ball out over the line. We've played 22 minutes into this third quarter. I know Dave Mackay loves calling it the match-winning quarter. Well, it has been so far in this game. Glenelg have really taken it up to the Magpies. Quick kicking again from behind was Northeast. Back there again was Carr. Carr be taken there by Clayton. Again, that's just a little bit of steam has been let off. It's allowing the players just to catch their breath. They really have worked so hard for 3 quarters. Still another 30 minutes of football to be played.
Clayton gets tackled hard. That's been a feature of this game, the tackling. Morgan, he deliberately puts it out. The umpire runs in. Oh, God, Kevin Chambers, haven't you got any eyes? Oh, handball straight out, it looked like from here. A throw in right forward pop. Can Glenelg get another goal near the end of this third quarter? Heavy body work, knocked away again by Polton. Goes towards the line. It's all Glenelg, and as Sujay Cook centres it, it goes over the pack. Bascom playing his first game for Port. He started off well. Gets the handball away. They're out of trouble there through Port Adelaide there, and Morgan goes to the outer side. David Brown's got it. Centre wing, the skipper for the Magpies. Long for Port Adelaide. Who can grab a mark? It's over the back. Visca mops up. He's got players wide. He goes that way to Bartlett. Oh, he made a yard. He's grabbed it. Now they've got players on the inside. Decides to go down the corridor. They need a mark. McAtee from behind comes to the front of the pack. Picked up and kicked away, but a free kick's been picked out the way of Chig Whitten at the 50-metre line. Chig Whitten, can he kick this far? Chiggy the skipper, what a game he's played. Kicked one
great
goal.
work to see him hit the pack. That was really exciting.
Short to Kelly, I've got to get their mark. He's got it short to Kelly within now 40 metres.
We just come back before to what Chiggy did then. The pack was formed. There was 4, 5, 6 players who went up to the mark. Chiggy hit that ball like his life depended on it and received the free kick. He missed the football. He just hit it with such ferocity over the top of that pack, which is really exciting to see. The chance again now, we see the Tigers. They're 12-6, 78. They lead the Magpies 7-7-49. It's a chance to go further ahead. Kelly, 48 metres. Just flips it out, brings it back beautifully with the breeze. Another major, Richard Kelly. That's his first for the afternoon. And the Tigers supporters, they really have got smiles on their faces.
6 goals to this quarter to Glenelg. 1 goal, 1 Port Adelaide. It is the premiership quarter. Well, the premiership's not run. Port Adelaide are still the red-hot favourites. But Glenelg have signalled that they're here to challenge Port Adelaide for this year's flag in a powerful display of team football.
Fraser coming on. Andrew Ops coming off. Ball's bounced down again. 13-6, 7-7. O'Loughlin takes it, gives the handball wider. Good running power here. There looks like the Iceman's come on for a run. The kick's long and strong. Just goes through behind. You see Mark Visca is quite happy to let it go through.
It's a 6-goal quarter for the Bays. That's pretty good, isn't it? Against 1 for Port Adelaide with that slight breeze.
We just suspect as we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
One of the best things that's happened to Glenelg today is that Fogarty got injured. That was good, but Win Stanley's come on and he's played a great game in the ruck to the point where Bull has had to come away from the forward, centre-half forward, and take him on in the ruck.
Damien Brown's got it. He whacks it into attack for Port Adelaide. The Magpies can't get it. Visca, the tough one, he's got it. Gets the handball away. Rubenik, outer side of the ground. Who can take the grab? No one. Kelly's got it. He bangs the ball wide. Who can get that out there? Ashley for Port Adelaide Magpies runs hard. Howard with him. It's out of play. Centre wing. Paul, what a game of footy. The Bays doing everything right in the third quarter.
A couple of Port fans here on screen just lamenting how their side's going. I think maybe Fiore's been taken off that outer wing, by the way. It looks to me like Ashley might have a chance for a run out there.
Kelly comes inside, gives it across to Burke. Burke has time now. Now releases it, goes towards centre-half forward. Cook with great courage went back. Ball's come up. It's come back to Fenneman. Cook's got it. He needs support. Tries to get the handball out. Great umpiring once again. Just letting this game flow. They come. It's inside 50 for the Tigers.
We'll see Gary while Port Adelaide are the #1 ranked defence. Fiore's off. Been an interesting afternoon, a huge learning curve for him.
He certainly has, and Lees and Carter out of that side. They've noticed them not being there. And I tell you what, Port Adelaide with a quarter to go, anything could happen. The Bays have had a brilliant game, and their third quarter, they led by 10 points at quarter time, 4 points at half time, and now well in front, but still a quarter to go. 34 points up at this stage. What? They need another goal. Can they get it? As a knock away comes towards Chigwidden. He's given heart and soul today. Ashley for the Magpies. Kicks it to centre wing. Rubenik does well. He's done a lot since coming on. Gets it over to Chigwidden. Chigwidden now the skipper, doing everything for his side. Drives it down to Higgins. Can't mark. Knocked away by the Port Adelaide defenders there. Morgan under a lot of pressure. Can't get it out. Play allowed to go on. The umpires have allowed that. Goes down to full forward. But a good mark taken by Feger.
They're pretty good since going to full back, Mark.
Yes, he has. He's been extra good, Feger. Had to control it. Bascom takes it, dodges and weaves one way, then gives it back to Northeast. Northeast slams it on his boots, got Ops out here by himself. He takes it off. Then just presents himself. Bascom's run down. Kelly will go around and mind him. He's got players streaming down the field. Can use them again. The kick wasn't good. It's gone as far as Lance Piccone. What a turnover that was. What a waste of a football.
Well, I guess rookies learn from those mistakes, Gary, don't they?
They do, and that's a bad one. That's picked up and taken by Wade for Port Adelaide. Drives long, good kick. O'Loughlin will grab this. Looks a good player. He's grabbed it within kicking distance. 45 metres from goal. Getting near the end of the third quarter, the Maggies need this one because I tell you what, it'll be a hot and strong final quarter.
Inside 50 spells, 38 plays 29. Really has been an outstanding quarter by the Tigers.
Have a look at that off the boot. It goes long, right behind it on our ABC cameras. Terrific camera work. It's hit the middle of the post. It's a minor score for Port Adelaide.
Gary Lachlan, Mark, is one of those players who averages a goal a game. He's pretty dangerous around goals. He knows how to kick them, and that one couldn't have been any closer.
Well, you see there, he's being picked up there by Alan Bartlett. A little bit of a mismatch there with Lachlan with plenty of pace up against Alan Bartlett. This kid here has impressed me since coming on. Bascom getting hold of the football, goes up forward, just couldn't quite get enough legs on it. And it's forced through another rush behind. So 7-10, 52. Just that 32-point margin. The Tigers on 13-6-84.
Pachani's done well kicking in for Glenelg today. He's had a good game of football. He's been cool. He's used the ball well. And he's also done the kick-outs. Long distance. Going down there towards Gigney. This one will have to lift. Coming through is Kelly. Couldn't take the ball with him. Gigney had a chance. He's got pace, this bloke. He's just got to know that he's got it. Kicks it high. But there it goes, the siren to end this 3 3/4. The Bays lead by 32 points at three-quarter time on ABC Sports.
6 goals to that quarter to a 1-goal fourth. And I guess the intensity of Glenelg has really exposed Port Adelaide without Carter and Brian Lees. I guess if those two fellows are back in their defence, they just crunch a few bodies, stop a few runners, but in the absence of that physical presence in defence for Port Adelaide, Glenelg are really making hay while the sun is shining. No question about that. They're streaming downfield, led by Nick Chigwidden, who has done everything. Kelly in the middle is doing a good job. Carr is cutting out the effectiveness of David Brown. And all around the ground they've got players just willing to sacrifice their bodies. I think Higgins sat on a couple of kicks when he smothered them, kicked 3 goals that quarter and really made a nuisance of himself. But you can see the emotion, riding high, the launch of their book prior to the Bay today, all their old champions here. And I guess these players want to set a new era. They're starting it this afternoon.
They certainly do, and they've got to go on with it now. They've got to win this game because it's so important to them coming up to the finals. You're watching the SNFL on ABC Sport.
What a game of footy it is, no question. A real tough one here at the Glenelg Oval. Hope you're enjoying it at home. Our player profile today is a young Port Adelaide rookie by the name of Aaron Fiora. And in 4 games, he's captured the imagination of the Port Adelaide faithful.
Name's Aaron Fiora. I'm 18 years old and I come from Narracourt down south east. Played under 14s footy when I was about 8 years old and I just kept playing until I was 14. I turned 15 and started to play A-grade football down there for 1 year, and when I turned 16, come straight up to Adelaide and played 17s and then up to league through the next year. I sort of had a choice between the Bays and Port, and I knew a fair few people here, a lot of administration people here, and didn't have much to do with Glenelg. Port were pretty good. I come up and train with them a few times and that, and so I just liked it. Country football, a lot scrappier, don't train as much, nowhere near as professional. Don't have as much staff and stuff like trainers and people preparing game days and stuff. League football is a lot professional. You get your boots cleaned and stuff. Like, it's just unbelievable. Mainly suited to the wing. I've played there most of my life. Anywhere in the 4 lines, don't mind a half back now and then. Steve's a real good coach. He's probably the best coach I've had because he's been there a long time, and from his family traditions and stuff, he knows a lot. He sort of, when I come up, he just let me play my game, told me to play my game a lot. AFL ambitions, I want to go there definitely. It's been like that since I was a little kid, and I've always watched it and didn't follow SNFL much, but AFL was always there. Hopefully I can get picked up this year. It'd be a big bonus. It'd be excellent, I reckon, to be picked up by Port Adelaide. Stay in Adelaide would be really good.
Interesting kid, isn't he? Now, you said he came from Narracourt. I thought that was in the heart of Glenelg's recruiting territory.
But that's the way it goes nowadays. You've got to be on the ball, don't you?
Wonder how they let him escape.
Well, that happens sometimes. They can't win them all.
Well, I tell you a fellow who I have been impressed with today is the Glenelg captain, Nick Chigwidden. He got a goal in the third quarter. Mark Noley picked it up beautifully. It was his 250th goal in league football. Now, just numbers it off the ground here. Almost. Boom.
That was a deliberate kick of goal, wasn't it? Absolutely sensational goal. Chigwidden's been one of the best for the Bays today.
We've been critical of Glenelg over a number of years, saying they haven't got a true rover. But to be fair, Nick Chigwidden has done a great job. I thought he was more suited as centre, ruck rover or a back pocket. But today, he's just been unbelievable.
Oh, he's been captain courageous. One that's had to do a lot of jobs for Glenelg over the years when they didn't have too good a sides and always tried. And now it's great to see him up there with a chance of the finals.
The one true rover they did have, they gave away to Port Adelaide. His name is Phil McGuinness. And when he roves this one, this is a true rover's goal.
This is sensational play. You couldn't see much better than that. Have a look at that reading off hands. McGuinness has played well. Took it, steady. He's a fair way out of it. He closed about 40 and whacked it through. And did Port Adelaide need that? Oh, amazing goal.
What about Ben McEntee? He knows how to take a mark and he also knows how to kick a goal.
He's brilliant. With a couple of goals he's got, it's been absolutely sensational. This kid's played well, Howard. I've been impressed with his game today. Have a look at this. Great grab behind. He does that well. I'd like to see him do more. Right pieces, I suppose, but if he can mark like that, it's a pretty good effort. And then to go back and kick the banana, and it is a banana on that side, the way he's got that around, great goal.
Good work, Gary. It's time to go down now to Michael Parsons, Stephen Williams and the Port Adelaide huddle.
Tickets playing at all costs now. Thanks for Chris. Winning ticket number 1973, second prize. Come on. $100 and $50 voucher goes to winning ticket number 245.
There's Stephen Williams looking for his boys to take a few risks and really get after it and show some of that Port Adelaide grit and determination and see if they can pull this one out of the fire. Tony McGuinness, he recognises the opportunity that his boys have got right now. Really, Tony draws more X's and O's than any Australian rules football coach I've ever seen, but he's really after them to maintain their structure. He got all the midfielders together, said, boys, it's up to you. Get at the ball, make sure we know where everybody is, and we'll come away with a fantastic victory for the Glenelg Football Club this afternoon.
Thank you, Michael, for that. At three-quarter time, the scoreboard reads Glenelg 13-6, Port Adelaide 7-10. The margin at three-quarter time is 32 points.
Amazing game. Have a look at those goal kickers. Higgins 3, Bettimer 3, McAtee 2, Bartlett, Kelly, Chickwin and Carr 1 each. McGuinness 2 great ones for Port Adelaide. Also Evans with 2. Philippo, O'Loughlin, Holmes 1 each.
The stats, fellas, really was Glenelg's quarter. They kicked away with the kicks. You see 137 plays, 103. The handballs, well, still favouring the Magpies. They were under extreme pressure in that third quarter. Mark still favoured by the Tigers, freeze the Tigers. Also hit outs with Quinn Stanley having an outstanding contest against Brown this afternoon. Inside 50 well, 38 plays, 31. Jiggy, fellas, he's had 24 possessions with an 8-possession quarter, that last one. And McGuinness for Port Adelaide is the major playmaker there with 18.
Thank you, Mark. In other matches around town this afternoon, the Eagles are 9-8, Norwood are 5-11, an interesting one at Woodville Oval. And it looks like with the Eagles in front that Glenelg, if they win here today, will go into second spot on the ladder. At Elizabeth, the Bulldogs are 11-12, North are 5-8. You'd anticipate the Bulldogs winning that one. We go down to Michael Parsons. Michael, I like what I see about Glenelg. They've been tough and ferocious at the ball, and they've been very, very tough.
Well, I must have answered there, David, for Michael. I have been really impressed with the Tigers today. I saw in the last game at Woodville Oval playing the Eagles, and they were tough and they were vicious at the football. The best that I've seen. Nick Chig wouldn't play for a couple of years, but the Tigers, they're in front. They're leading by that 32-point margin. Let's see if they can hang on.
They certainly will, Mark. They led by 10 points at quarter time. They led by 4 points at half time, and now 32 points after that brilliant third quarter where they kicked 6 goals to Port Adelaide's 1. As good a quarter as I've seen the Bays play for a while. Can they go on with it in the final quarter at the Bay Oval? You'll see it all here, and stay with us for this 30 minutes on ABC Sport. There's the bounce down. Port Adelaide will come back hard. Don't worry about that. Heavy work there. Throw called. Martin Ailey picked it up, and it goes to Kelly. Kelly now to load. The Bays need to get going early, because I can assure you, you never write Port Adelaide on. Kelly now drives long. That's a good option. Up there, high over the back they go. Bettimer couldn't mark. Higgins has done well in that forward area. He goes back over for the Bays. Can't get it. Over there, Morgan for Port Adelaide knocks towards the line. That's well done by Sujay Cook. He's played well today. The kick comes in, dude. McAtee can't grab it. Goes over the back, but it's got there by the captain. Chick Whitten centres it, but it's all Port Adelaide in there. And marking defence, been a good player, is Fegan.
Nigel Fegan. He's on the goal line there, puts it high, up for Fraser. Good work from behind by Raiders. The chance here now for the Magpies. The kicks come off the side of the boot there from Mark Wade. So a chance now for the Tigers just to keep it their side of the centre. Well, David, I've been pretty impressed with this young Howard this afternoon. He's only 18 years of age, playing his 6th game.
There's no size at all to him at all, Mark, but he goes and goes and goes. 13 kick, 6 handballs. He's got amongst the possessions.
It goes down the forward pocket. Chig Whitten's got it. Goes goal, and it's on Chiggy. He couldn't get it. He was going flat out. His little legs nearly tripped him over. It's not a goal. It's out of play in the left forward pocket, but it's down in the Bay attacking area. Glenelg 13-6, leading Port Adelaide 7-10. Shiggy, what a game he's had. McAtee puts a hand in the back. That'll go against him. The kid can't do that. Paul in front will take the free kick from the back pocket. Give it back to him quick. It's away. Oh, that's good. Should be a net. That wasn't thrown back on the full. Oh, well, I won't get pedantic about it. Paul's got it in the back pocket. Port Adelaide won't worry about that. They've got to generate something. Handball away to Polton. He goes with a 55-metre kick to centre wing on the outer. Comes off hands there from Big Winstanley to the front of the pack. They battle hard through Sujay Cook. The little rover puts it into Pachoni. What a game he's played for Bays today. He's got it. There's a loose player. It's in that direction. He's up. The kid McAdee has grabbed it. 35 metres out, nearly directly in front of goal for the Bays.
Look, for the first time for about 4 years, we're seeing Glenelg play direct corridor football, and they're just reaping massive rewards, aren't they? All the players are running where they should be. They're straightened up beautifully. They're not playing wide, no shortcuts, no cheating, and they just look awesome when they do this.
He's kicked 2 goals. Ben McAdee, playing only his 18th game of league football, needs a goal. What can he do? The youngster goes hard, strong. I think that's the goal, is it? It is. That's his third. The Bays get the first one in the final quarter. They needed it. 14 goals, 6. Port Adelaide, 7-10.
I guess the expectation now is they'll meet in the finals. It looks like Glenelg's going to take second position on the ladder and a double chance in the finals. Glenelg have got to remember this level of urgency, ferocity, and they're going to meet Port Adelaide on a bigger oval and play the same game. Now, it's interesting. I just hope they haven't played the grand final today, because if they can keep this up in the finals, they can do the job as we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Just one thing that you might keep in the back of your minds, Port Adelaide are never dead, and they've got the assistance of a building wind. Just a couple of goals to their favour right now, so if they can get hold of the football, they're always a chance.
Oh, Chicky again was just brilliant in that contest. Head down, took the football, got out of prison, I would have to say. There's just no space at all. Found something. He's been good. Oh, they're just playing with confidence. Forget about the win, Michael Parsons. This Tigers side have got their tail up. Oh, McEntee! Payne! He needs to get it in quickly. 1-on-1 out. Come on, Benham is there. He's screaming for the football to come in. Ooh, he dropped it. He dropped it.
Good, great camera work. That is super camera work.
That's why I yelled Payne, because I knew it hit the ground from our cameras, but what an effort from the kid.
He's taking his time here. Blood rule again has been called. Looks like Wade's coming off with it.
While we've got a minute, boys, I'd just like to tell you, you're raving on about, and it is important for Glenelg today, but you know very well Port Adelaide in the finals are far different than what's playing on the Bay over today.
Yes, Glenelg have matched them in ferocity, but I don't think Port Adelaide really have gone the hard yards in the hunt for physical aggression, but it's still an interesting game.
But the Bays had to do it, and to play like this shows you they have got the commitment to go on with it this year. Look at all the players.
Just looking at the Bays, the whole half-back line, the whole back pocket, the whole back line and centre line is inside 50 at this stage of the game, except for a couple just holding back the Winstanley on balls. Winstanley and also Kelly there with McEntee, but they really have flooded that forward line. If it comes to ground, the numbers are there to keep the ball in the area.
McEntee now, too far out to score. A tie, it's in the goal square. They fly, too many of it there. Josh Carr, he's pulled off the ball. Have a look at the group of players there on your ABC screen. And there'll be another bounce down 30 metres out from the Glenelg goal. They're going against the breeze in the final quarter.
Great coaching there, because they've kept the ball now inside the 50. It hit the deck. The Port players are there, but the Glenelg players also had the numbers.
The Bays lead 14-6, Port 7-10. We're in the final quarter. Getting it out of there. Kick away. Comes from Polton. Didn't get anyone from... Oh, good game. Cook. Great hands to Raiders. Over to Kelly. What can he do? Wonderful kick.
Beautiful.
Wonderful kick. Has found Bartlett.
There's very few players in the competition who can do that. Gary McIntosh used to do it. One step and drill a ball 45 metres and not go higher than 2 metres. That is just an unbelievable kick, and the slick hands of the Glenelg players set it all up for Kelly. Bartlett will finish this, but there's some great ball players who really should get the credit.
Bartlett now goes in to the southern end. The ball's coming back. He's played a lot of footy here. I think he's tipped it. He has. The Bays are on fire. That's his second. Big Alan Bartlett. What a performance from Glenelg. They've got all their former champions here today, and they're playing like it. Glenelg, 15 goals, 6. Lead Port Adelaide 7-10 in a wonderful performance.
Sturt have the bye today. They'll be watching Glenelg because they face off next week at Unley Oval. I guess that becomes our match of the day next week. Stakes are pretty high there because the Glenelg side have taken second spot from Sturt.
Yeah, that's right.
Nord's still there. Nord have been by enough this afternoon over. I think that we'll get back to the game here at the moment.
Nord will be fifth after this.
Nord will be fifth. Stay with the play down on the outer side. Gowns down there. Handball away. Comes to Bisker. Bisker gets it away. Over to Big Gigney. He drives long. Centre wing. But a good mark out there taken in defence for Port Adelaide. Taken by Clayton. Clayton drives long to the Magpies. Off hands. Front of the pack. Ashley tackled hard by Sherwood. Comes down to big Damien Brown. He can't get it away. Visca nose over the ball. Look at the Bays in front of the play. Chick Whitten, brilliant. Over to Burke. He goes long. Into full forward. Offhand. It's the Bays in Carr into the open goal. It's another one. It's raining goals. Josh Carr's second goal. He's had a good game. The Bays are on fire. At the Bays. 16-6. Port Adelaide 7-10.
Now we talk about the fat lady singing, Gary.
Oh, we will now. This is the fine performance. The fat lady singing for the Bays at the Bay Oval.
Well, they're home. They're home, no question about it. This Glenelg side will take the chocolates today in a big boil-over. Port Adelaide's biggest defeat of the season if they don't get a few quick goals.
This is champagne football. They took it right up to them in the first quarter, the Tigers. They've matched them in every department, physical, mentally, and also with their skill level here this afternoon.
I reckon
led brilliantly, David, by their captain and Chicky.
So far best for mine. By the way, I'm going to get the votes today. I'll get the job.
You're saying that already, eh?
I'll get
You wouldn't say Kelly's not too far away.
18 kicks and 11 handballs. Chiggy, who's led from the front.
I reckon Kelly's not too far behind him. He's had 20, but gee, he's been tough and strong in the clinches. We'll see how Lachlan comes up with the football. A chance now for the Magpies. They need one. But these Tiger units are just so desperate with their hands on the football. Oh, and Lachlan throws it over his head. The umpire has no other alternative other than to blow his whistle and pay the free kick. Comes back to Rubenik. Rubenik kicks down the line. Coming across is Higgins. He needs runners going past. He has McEntee moving. Coming in close. He looks like Carr's come out hard. Or is it Howard? Looks like Howard. Well, it is Carr.
The thing about Port Adelaide today, they haven't had that switch and play that they're used to. Glenelg have been playing that all day. They've robbed Port Adelaide of it. They haven't had any rebound from their half-back or full-back line at all. In fact, I'd love to know how many kicks their full-back line have had in total. They've hardly sniffed the ball, Port Adelaide.
There's the ball. It's in a half ball to the Bays. You've mentioned some of those. You mentioned Chick Whitten. That's where they've won. Kelly has won in the centre. Chick Whitten on the ball.
Northeast, Sheehan and Polton. We should have a look at their stats, shouldn't we?
Burke as well. We should look at Burke's brilliant.
Sheehan's had one kick. Jared Polton's had 6 and 1. And Northeast has had 4 and 2. They've had nothing of the ball. Their full-back line.
And I'll tell you, these rucks also pulling there, battling now to get it out. Young Sujay Cook's another one that deserves a mention of the Bays. He's the man with the ball there now on that pack. Can't get it out. Bounce down will take place.
Would you have Sujay in your best 5 or 6?
Well, he'd be up there. I've got him the honourable mention already, so he's around the place. Josh Carr, another one that's done a wonderful team job for his team. There's the kick away from Clayton. That's how they've got it today, though, Port. Drive it hard, high, and no one in particular. It's out of play. Wonderful game.
In other matches, Gary. The Eagles, I think they've won that over Norwood at Woodville Oval. And Central, I think they've got the money there.
And they're not going to be in the 5. Unbelievable. But we're at the Bay Oval. Glenelg leads 16-6. Port Adelaide 7-10.
Quick kick forward again. They won't stop trying, the Magpies. Bascom's in there, also big Paulie. He takes on Sujay Cook. Fraser takes it, goes to ground. The umpire should blow his whistle. He's not going to. He's letting the game go, which they have for most of the afternoon. Brown's got it. Looks across for Phillippo. The kick wasn't good. Just didn't have enough carry on it. Alan Bartlett has been played everywhere this afternoon. Into ruck, centre half back, centre half forward.
Back pocket.
And back pocket comes across. Win Stanley well. I'd love to buy him a beer tonight, but it was taking up the challenge when Brooks Fogden went off.
It
really has been sensational.
You'd buy anyone a beer, Mark.
That was Lairising them. They shouldn't muck around the Bays like that. They play down the corridor.
Concept
Don't give it away.
was right. Bring it back to the middle.
Gigne's got it. The Bays, they were doing everything right. They're getting it a bit confident now. They're throwing the ball around a bit too much in there. Port Adelaide will hurt them physically if they do that. There's a push in the back, and the way will go the Bays. They're getting the ball first, so they deserve the freeze.
I don't know that I've ever seen 3.5 quarters ever of this intensity other than a big grand final.
Tony McGuinness, we talked about, needs a big pat on the back. It's as good as I've seen a Bayside play for a while against such strong opposition. There's the kick down in the centre position. Off hands, McGuinness. He fell out of the game, gets the handball back to Clayton. Tried hard for Port, it goes wide, and Damien Brown, the ruckman, marks it on centre wing outer side of the ground.
I'll tell you the last time Port Adelaide were this demoralised by Glenelg side. First game that Tony Simons coached Glenelg at Football Park against Port under lights.
McGuinness goes for goal. Good comment, DB, as McGuinness goes for goal, but that's a dirty day for Port Adelaide. They've missed. It's through for the minor score. Port Adelaide 7-11, trailing Glenelg on 16-6.
Now, what's that? That must be 6 years ago, is it?
Yeah.
Now, that was a night that the Glenelg faithful thought their club had turned around. They absolutely hammered Port. New coach, new dimension for the club, and it's been all downhill since this year.
It's a great comeback, that's for sure.
Kick back in again. Gigney takes it without the football. Again, Baskin's in there. Cook has been outstanding. Across to Kelly, he's just been just as good as Cook. Across to Tiggy, well, it's not a bad trifecta this afternoon. Tiggy's taken high. The free kick will come back to the captain. He really has been in outstanding form the last month. Is Tiggy. McEntee. He's presented himself this afternoon after half-time, giving them a target. Bettimer comes out strong and hard. He's got a little bit, got a yard on his play. Up goes the arms in front of Jared Polton. He takes a good mark, the big fella. Good chance here for Bettimer.
It's a ball over though, isn't it? Coming here today, I thought, no, it's going to be too much for the Bays. The pressure, the physical play at Port Adelaide, and to see him lift like this, Mark, it's amazing.
Well, I thought the Magpies, with the team that they were displaying this afternoon, would do it easily, but walking into today's game, both Michael Parsons and also Ian Mogridge, our statistician, were quite confident that the Tigers were going to whip the Magpies this afternoon. They have, and they've done it very well. You see Bettimer puts it on its way. The Breeze bring it back. It's a start to. Let's wait for the umpire. No, well, we're right behind it. We're behind there for Bettimer. He's kicked 3 goals, 1 this afternoon. You see 16-7, 103, a 50-point margin over the Magpies.
Sheehan to bring the ball back into play for Port Adelaide. It's been the Bay's day. They launched their book today. I thought that might have been open. The Pride of the Bay, the story of Glenelg, launched today. I think after this game, Graham Corns, all the stars here, Peter Marker from yesteryear. And what a fill-up this will be for them. It's out on the side of the ground. You're at the Bay Oval on ABC Sport. It's a boil-over. Port are getting killed. They go into attack. Down there looking for and finding Filippo on the 50-metre attacking line for the Magpies. He can kick this. He's a lovely kicker of the football. Done much today. Kicked 1 goal in the first quarter. So, 3 possessions for the day. You'd say that's a dirty day. Been on and off the ground. Need a goal, this kid. He needs a bit of confidence. He can kick a ball. Have a look at that. That's gone a long way. It's just dribbled across the face of goal. It's through for the minor score. Port Adelaide need goals at getting points. So 7-12. Glenelg 16-7. Fine performance by the Bays.
Sam Filippo, Mark, when he gets close, is very, very dangerous. We saw him at Adelaide Oval that night where he kicked 10 goals, 1. Devastating. I think he's kicked 6 against Glenelg this year. And he's only had 9 goals for the rest of the season. He's missed a lot of games with a hip and thigh injury. Fellas, he's been decimated after a great start to the season. Injury has just unravelled his year.
Tigers again go forward. Gigney puts the 2 big arms up. Couldn't bring it to ground. Had his share of that football.
He gets in my top 8 or 10. Gigney. Stood up.
Played a better game, stood up. And I think that's a good point you make, David. There's a few stood up there today. We could talk about it if we've got a bit of time because he's one of them. They needed that to win.
Grenfold down at ground level, just ducks and weaves, gives it back to Sherwood. Sherwood goes out wide for Sujay Cook. It needs to sit for the chef. Will it or won't it? He now has time on his side. He picks it up around his body, little checky. Comes back and finds Kelly. Kelly has time now to set it up. Goes out wide. The running Gigney has here the pace. Fiora's come back on. He takes on Fiora, then booms the big left foot in. Where's McEntee? He's jumped at everything up there after half-time. The mark's been taken and paid. I reckon it's Higgins, or is it Nicholas? It's Nicholas.
Nicholas
has taken a great overhead grab there in front positions over northeast.
Wasn't a mark. It come off the Port player's head, but doesn't matter. He had a big grab of it.
Simon Nicholas, it's his 2nd mark for the afternoon. Yet to register a major. Great chance here. He's on a 45-degree angle, about 45 metres out. On his left leg. Right across the face of goal. Wasn't a control kick. You just see the emotion there from him. And he wasn't happy with that result. Another behind. So 16-8 place, 17-12. 7-12.
10 goals, fellas. Comprehensive win.
Oh, the crowd is celebrating here. Stay with us on ABC Sport. After we've got a time, you'll see the crowd. They're already starting to celebrate. It's a shock win for them. We're only halfway through just halfway through this final quarter, but it's all been the Bays. It's been absolutely terrific football as Port Adelaide try to go into attack. It's all academic now, but they've had a building today here at the Bay Oval as O'Loughlin, a good player, young player, kicks into the half-forward line. The Bays have had numbers around the ball as Sherwood. Tough, hard. Kelly's one of the best. He goes out wide, strips it wide, gets it wide. Here they go, run again. Josh Carr, he's at a day and a half. He's got it. He goes 50 metres out. He thinks they'll have a bomb. It goes. It's down there. Young Shin in front. It's off hands. Out of play. Is it? No, it's still there in the left forward pocket. Clayton bails them up. Throw in left forward pocket.
Well, get a shot of this Glenelg side because they have done it all right today. They've won it in the midfield. If you're looking for where they've won it, they did it without a ruckman. They've won comprehensively their rucks and ruck rovers and rovers. Midfielders, their wingmen have been dominating. I can't find a good player other than David Brown in the small man department for Port Adelaide today.
Hobbs favoured by the bounce. Now we'll set it up. He kicks the ball high. It's a floater. Raiders should take this in front of David Brown. Couldn't get to it. Evans does clean it up. Then comes back in board. Big Damien Brown's up forward now. He takes a good overhead grab. The big fellas, you can see the look. He's trying to find somebody short. He looks again.
I'll give you some of my best players.
Continues looking.
Pachoni, you got him in there?
Yep, I
Quinn
have.
Stanley, Burt, Kelly, Carr, Cook, Howard. You got all 11 down on yours?
Couldn't fit them all in.
You're going to have to do some. Kelly at nearly best. Him and
I go Chigwin best and Kelly second best.
Brown puts it on its way. Looks like the umpire has not moved. But Brown finally gets a goal for the Magpies. A much needed one. Damien Brown, that's his first goal for the hour.
No point discussing this, but let's go through Glenelg best players, Gary. Chigwin best on ground by the way. Did it when it counted, set the example. Kelly set the example when it counted.
Early, yes.
Tough and aggressive. Burke, who cut down Aaron Fury in the first half and set up this win. I've given him third, and Carr, who shut David Brown out in the second half, when Port Adelaide could have come back in that third quarter. Carr cut Brownie out, and I've given him amongst them.
Well, Pachoni would be up high with them. I'd just put
Cook and Pachoni I've got there, and I've got Gigney in, and I understand that Howard's second half you'd be impressed with, no question.
Brilliant. Back in the centre, Port Adelaide, can they get a wiggle on the end? They need it. Young Fiora, he's had his colours lowered today, goes onto the left foot, kicks it into attack. Gigney does well to mark. They're out of trouble again. That's Burke kicks long. Look at the Bay players here on grandstand side. Taken by Whitstanley. Confidence over to Grenbold. He gets the handball away to Higgins. Not a good one. Higgins is tough. Oh, there's the run. Over to Sherwood. 55 from goal. Puts it down the right spot. Offhand. Front of the pack. McAtee tackle, but he didn't have it. He goes back over it. Good tackle on Fegan. Bounce down. 25 metres out.
You want to have a crack, Gary, at the Port Adelaide best players?
Well, I had a few here. McGuinness, Brown, Morgan.
McGuinness, Brown, I've got with you 1 and 2.
Holt, Fegan.
Fegan I had.
O'Loughlin when he'd come on, and young Bascom for his first game has got touches.
Couldn't give them votes.
Oh, no, you couldn't, but I'm just helping the lads out. They've tried hard in a beaten side.
And the point I'm making, I only found 3 that I could consider better players for Port Adelaide. You'll never see that.
No, dead right. You never will. No, I must admit I haven't concentrated on Port as much because they've been comprehensively beaten all over the ground by a running, committed Glenelg side on their home ground.
3 players. Look, we've been doing this a long time. Even when they've had bad days, I reckon you found 6 good players for Port.
And I think that, you know, you're going to have to watch that. The finals, they'll get players back. But Kelly, one of the... Oh, McAtee! He's sticky fingers, this bloke. I've loved his game. I reckon he's a bit like that. He's a bit in and out. But I tell you what, the kid can mark. And when you can mark like that, you can think in a final series, if he can grab like that, he could be a lot of value up forward.
But you also get a Brian Leeson in the final series, or a Carter.
That'll be harder.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's no, you missed the point.
No, he's
if he can grab like that, he can beat anyone if the Bays are running and getting the ball in there enough.
He can.
And if he kicks this, that'll be goal number 4. He's banged it through. McAtee, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the final. Good on you, kid. Only in his 18th game, he's whacked through 4 goals. And up you, David Mackay.
Hey, you've got to say he's been impressive today. No question. And not underwriting that. He's taken front position on North East and also Clayton. Carried the mark and kicked the goal. You can't do any more than that against any opposition. You made a fair point about his game. He's kicked 4. That's what he's there for. A lot of these blokes, Tony McGuinness will have to keep their feet on the ground, make sure they're not getting carried away with this one.
That's for sure. Definitely. Good comment, DB.
17-8, 110, 8-12, 60. Really has been outstanding contribution from every player. You're going through those best players for the Tigers. You really need to find out who didn't play well this afternoon. There wouldn't be too many who haven't at some stage throughout the course of this game contributed for a minute, maybe two, maybe even longer than that. We see the Glenelg fans, they're starting to celebrate. The scarves are down, the hats are there. They're doing their Kevin Sheedy impersonations.
She'll be a heavy old night in the Bay tonight. I tell you, that club room was just packed when we got here. Mark, I think we better go in after the game. This place will be rocking.
Oh, it's a good crowd. You tell me most of the area, restaurants, etc., hotels have been booked out well before today's contest. People coming down to Brighton Road to be a part of this, and they really will go away this afternoon thinking, well, the Tigers have got a chance to beaten last year's premiers. No doubt there'll be minor premiers this season. A good kick in once again, sets up Damien Brown. Ball comes to ground. Again, we see players over the top of it. Little Peller and Howard. Takes one high there from Fraser. The umpire missed that. Quick sweep there. They're not leaving. The Magpies supporters never leave a contest. The Tigers fans are staying just to witness a great win here this afternoon.
I think he's already playing the Glenelg Club song already on the PA system here as Kelly. That's that. He gets a long kick down the centre wing, but outmarked. Fegans tried hard for Port Adelaide. He grabs it on centre wing. Now he goes to Polton, who's also tried. Polton in the centre of the ground. Port Adelaide will be saying, hey, this is only the minor round, chaps. You wait till you see us in the finals as they go wide. Theora has got it. The youngster, the left footer, centres the ball. Centre half forward, looking for an option in there. Can't find one. Big bad coming through there. Number 14 for the Bays, Alan Bartlett. Played well today. It's knocked to the ground. Bounced down at centre half forward for Port Adelaide. Played well, but as Mark Maley said, it's hard to find anyone that hasn't played well in a very committed Glenelg side. The Tigers have ripped and clawed today right from the start. We didn't know if they could keep it up. They have, and they'll go on to a meritorious win. There's the kick away. Port Adelaide with a chance, trying to get it out. Evans gets the quick kick away. Won't go for a goal. In fact, it's a minor score. Port Adelaide need goals, but that's only a point. Now, 8-13, trailing Glenelg, 17 goals, 8, as we get near the end of the final quarter at the Bay Oval.
Ball's kicked back in. We'll go out to Raiders. He takes it and keeps running with the football. Has time to have one bounce. Then gets it around O'Loughlin. Back onto his left foot. Sits it up high for Nicholas. Nicholas is in the contest. The Bays have numbers just hitting front and centre. Couldn't be picked up there by Rubenik. Right in front of the members down here at Glenelg. The ball will be thrown in.
Sherwood Gary has kept Evans to 2 goals.
I like his game, David. He's certainly, but still, they've all played well. Sherwood, I've seen him a couple of times, has played well. But Kelly, I tell you what, and there's Chigwidden, the two of them, pretty hard to split them as best on ground. Chigwidden's been brilliant. Kelly's been brilliant in the centre. What a performance from them. And there's some other players that we've mentioned today that didn't get the best players. McAtee with his 4's been good. Been a lot of others. Mark Fisker, players like that have done well for them as McGuinness gets the kick away. It's a shocker. It's out on the full.
Gary, we should also highlight David Grenville playing his 100th game 15 years after playing his first game for Glenelg.
Yeah, good comment. And here's another bloke. Good story from Rubenik. He's come back into this Bay side after being away. He gets the handball away. Kick away long by Winstanley. Oh, great grab. Josh goes. They're enjoying this now, the Bays. They really are. Onto the left foot he goes wide. They can run and enjoy it. Sherwood's got it. 55 from goal. Long bomb. Into the goal square. Who's the Bay player that'll mark it? No one. Down to Higgins. He gets a quick kick away in the forward pocket. It's out of play. No. Bounces back in. Ups with a chance. He gets it and kicks towards the line.
Still in sport. See Howard picks it up. He goes around one player there in Clayton. Now heads it home with a big kick. Where's McEntee? The Flyers there. Down at ground level there was Nicholas. Couldn't quite bring it back far enough. Another behind for the Tigers. So 79, 111, 8-13, 61.
50 points, that little Glenelg fan. I guess his dad will be buying him a book, the Pride of the Bay, $39.95, and all good bookstop stores. But I reckon they might sell it out here at the Glenelg room tonight, and he's doing an ABC logo for us. Good man.
He's trying to hit the club.
He's unbelievable, isn't he? the kids, they love it. And that's what I like about footy, especially this local footy. And this has been a ripper today. It is exciting just to be here. The Bays have put on a performance to remember in this 1999 season. There's the ball out of play. Polton can't keep it in. There'll be a throw in.
Gary Polton, you put him amongst your better players, Gary?
Yeah, I think he's trying hard. It's hard playing in the side. Port haven't looked their true self today with players out, but you can't take it away from the Bays. Their attack on the ball has been better than Port Adelaide, and you don't see that too often. Kick away by Polton, goes into the half-forward line. Badly bouncing ball there, hard to take. Raiders couldn't get that one. Goes back to Evans. Raiders does well to go over. Their courage has been good under pressure. Handballs away to Glenelg. There they go again. Gigney, they'll run. Have a look at this. Out wide, Josh Carr, he's loving it. He's getting better and he's getting more confident. Onto the left foot. Into attack again. Who can take the mark? And there goes the siren, and it's away. It's a great win to the Bays. They've beaten Port Adelaide by 50 points. What a performance.
Oh, it was a great effort. A great second half where they kicked 10 goals, 5 in the second half to Port Adelaide's 2 goals. It was just so strong, so solid. And the Tiger faithful have said to us at Scarfco, Sujai Cook, high amongst their better players. We're in a lot of trouble up here, I tell you. They're throwing scarves at us. It was an all-round team performance. David Grenbold left the screen. Sigwin and best on ground for mine when I get to give the votes. It was just extraordinary in a counter. Richard Kelly, my second best. I know you liked him, Gary. And the two of them really set it up. It's a warm embrace for both of them. Jared Polton walks off dejected. This was a complete Tiger performance this afternoon. I found probably 13 very good players. Only probably 1 or 2 passengers in the entire team. It was great coaching, great teamwork, well executed. I mentioned their team discipline today where they played right down the corridor. You can beat Port Adelaide. They've proven that today. If you play that brand of football, Port Adelaide will certainly be stronger. But we go down now to our best on ground, Dick Sigwin with Michael Parsons.
Yes, Nick, it's a pretty good game of footy to win for the club.
Oh yeah, mate, it's a great game. You know, it's now we make sure we're in the finals and a chance for a double chance. And any time you beat Port, it's a great game.
It's a pretty special day for the football club here today. A lot of past players around, a big crowd, and some fantastic performances. I thought Joshy Carr's form on David Brown earlier was great.
Yeah, Carey played well. I think it was a pretty even effort. All the boys just had a dip, and you got to do that against Port, and to get away with a good win like that was fantastic. So, yeah, we've got Sturt next week now, so another big one we're looking forward to, and hopefully lead up to some good wins into the finals.
And that's 6 wins in a row. You must be starting to plan for the finals now.
Yeah, well, I think that's make sure we're in it now after that win. So, yeah, we want to keep it going, and it's been a while since we've been there, so we're looking forward to it.
A pretty good feeling around the ground now, Chiggy. I'll let you go and enjoy it. Thanks very much.
Graham Corns affords David Grenbold playing his 100th game for the Tigers today after 112 games for Essendon. 2 knee reconstructions, a broken jaw and hamstrings you could play a tune on. But today he gets 100 for the Tigers. It wasn't his best. He started on the bench. He came on, went to a back pocket, then to a forward pocket. But it's a day he'll remember as the Tigers get up by 50 points. And there's Gary Window holding the book, and they've thrown everything at us today. Gary, we've got scarves, the supporters have come up, we're sitting here minding our own business.
Oh, well done.
Thrown another book in our hand, thrown a scarf around us, we can do nothing about it. It's a big day at the Bay.
It certainly deserved it, and it was a wonderful performance down here. And I'd like to say to all the Bay people, well done. Football at the Bay is alive and well, and to win it, you deserved it today. It's just a terrific effort.
Best players, we've covered that. Sigwin best on ground, Kelly second best. I've already said Alistair Burke in the first half when it needed to be set up, cut Aaron Fiore right out of the game. Josh Carr for a great job of finding the ball, kicking goals and cutting David Brown out of the game. Sujai Cook for sheer weight of possessions, Paconi for his hard work and Gigney for the big work, but you could go right through the Tiger side. Phil McGuinness, Dick Sigwin, what a great performance from the skipper. In 2 matches we've covered in the last month, he's been the best. And Phil McGuinness was the only good player that I could find for Port Adelaide. David Brown got plenty of the ball and made a nuisance of himself and Nigel Fegan. So a disappointing day. The final scoreboard here at Glenelg Oval. Glenelg 17 goals 9, 111. Port Adelaide 8 goals 13, 61. A 50-point margin in favour of the Tigers.
A wonderful performance for the Bays. Have a look at that. McAtee, we've talked about him. 4 wonderful goals. Higgins and Fetimer 3 each. Bartlett and Carr 2 each. Kelly and Chigwin 1 each. Fine performance from them. For Port Adelaide, McGuinness and Evans, the full forward, kicked 2. Philippo, O'Loughlin, Brown and Holmes, 1 each.
Daly has the stats, Mark. A very impressive line-up for Glenelg.
Yeah, the second half, David, really told the story. Glenelg just outnumbering them with their kicks and also with the handballs. Well, the marks with McEntee after half-time taking 5 sensational grabs. Freeze also favouring the Tigers. Hit-outs well. Winstanley started to tire there towards the end and Brown got on top. He outnumbered him by 29 to 25. But a great effort by Winstanley. Centre breaks even, inside 50s. Well, 44 to the Magpies, 51 to the Tigers. And Chicky Phillips had 30 possessions, Kelly 36 and Cook 23. For the Maggies, well, McGuinness the best one there with 26 possessions. And it's been a great afternoon. The Tigers fans, they're out here in numbers. They're still singing the song.
Thank you, Mark. In other matches, the Eagles got home over Norwood. Central got over North Adelaide, and last night in the AFL, Essendon got over the top of Richmond. Carlton defeated St Kilda today, and Brisbane Lions got home over Melbourne, as you'd expect. Tonight it's Hawthorn and Geelong, Fremantle and Sydney. Tomorrow, Port Adelaide and Adelaide, the big one, Showdown 6. Kangaroos and Collingwood, Western Bulldogs and West Coast. And next week in SNFL footy, live on ABC TV at 2:15, Sturt and Glenelg at Unley Oval. What a match that now shaped up. Huge proportion, that one. And Norwood and Central, North and West, South and the Eagles. Well, Gary, we've got to come up for breath a little bit. Did you find a McGarry medalist out of that lot?
I tell you what, there's some good players. Chiggy, how's he gone this year? He must have got votes again.
Picked up some votes again today, so maybe he's a dark horse.
Oh, I tell you what, him and Kelly, I know, made the stateside, so he must also get votes. They were good today.
September 14th, Tuesday night, 8:30 at the Adelaide Football Park Convention Centre. You'll see that. If you want the tape of this game, I guess if you're a Tiger fan, you certainly will. The ABC Match of the Day is available on video from the ABC shops, or you can phone 8343 4601. We'll see you next week at Sturt and Glenelg, Unley Oval, 2:15. What a match that should shape to be.
Go Bays!
It will be a beauty. Join us at 2:15, I'm sure. We're now taking you to netball with Australia in the President's 12 from Brisbane. We're 11 minutes remaining into the first quarter. We'll see you next week for a blockbuster from Unley Oval. Bye for now.